and welcome to the Saladcast on Saturday the 25th of January 2013. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Robert Kemp, humming, and Zachary Burgess.
That was a great voice.
I've not heard that one before. Is that your hummingbird?
Whatever noise hummingbirds make.
Are they really high pitched?
I don't know why, like, hummingbird just reminds. It
would be pretty funny if hummingbirds were like super deep bassy and like wow.
They turn up and start speaking like Barry White at you.
Well, they're only humming because of the sound of the wings, not the sound they make with their voice, I presume.
Yeah.
And that isn't like a high, it's like a hum, funny enough. It's not like a hummingbird sound.
Hey, baby, I'm going to extract your nectar.
Lovely.
All right.
Stop talking to inanimate objects again, Dave. Always talking to the fucking flowers.
They don't talk
back. Oh, yeah.
Alright, I'm going to enjoy sticking my elongated beak in you.
Dude, stop fetishizing the flowers.
Oh. There it is.
So, yes.
Hummingbird falls.
Hummingbirds. This is a podcast about video games.
Hello.
Maybe,
potentially. Why, have you got any other topics you'd like to discuss?
No, I was just saying we probably aren't going to talk so much about video games, potentially.
Why is that?
Because we haven't played very many, apparently. But we'll get to that.
You always do.
You think that?
You've always got tons to talk about. In fact, last time we ran out of time for you, so you should have spillover.
Yeah, you'd think, but I can't remember what any of it was.
Oh, no!
No.
This is bad news.
But we did cover it. It was like Pharaoh one week and Minecraft the next week.
Oh, yeah, we covered most of it.
That's pretty much done.
And then we watched that insane Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah.
Somebody get these fucking iguanas off my coffee table.
There's no iguanas.
Yes.
Right there. Shoot him again. His soul is still dancing. Yes, go see Bad Lieutenant.
Go see it.
Go see it. Yes,
Go see it.
You know, hire a cinema and force them to put it on.
To the break of dawn, baby. To the break of dawn, baby.
Everything's coming up, Cage.
That was a mysterious film.
It's genius.
Anyway.
It's really funny. It's sort of like it takes an awful long time to actually start going, and you're sort of questioning it for quite a long time, and then something just. I don't know, so you suddenly start just rolling with it, and it's just like...
At first it seems very cliched, like, cop film.
Yeah.
And, like, it's all full of tropes of, like, good cop, bad cop in the interrogation room. And then suddenly it goes... Well, not suddenly at all. It sort of gradually goes completely off the wall. Which is awesome.
More fucked. Yeah, there's like a point halfway through the film where you're suddenly like, this is sweet.
This is actually sweet. Yeah, okay. We'll find some more crazy stuff to...
I saw The Last Stand, which was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, the
new army thing.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
It was pretty good.
Schwarzenegger.
In a sort of throwaway, like, old school action sort of way. You know, some cheesy one-liners and some giggles.
Is it Johnny Knoxville, isn't it?
It's got Johnny Knoxville in it as well, yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's that guy who plays... shit. What was it? Was it Lost in Space? No, Armageddon, the Russian guy. Who's like, made in Taiwan, man.
Yeah.
I can never remember his name.
The Armageddon.
Yeah, he's in it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
That was alright. That's quite fun. Yeah, Arnie's getting old. Like, really old. It's like when it close-ups on his face, it's like, I don't want to see that.
Wow. Yeah, he's craggedy.
In some moments, he looked a bit like Clint Eastwood. Like, the way he turned round, you know, in Eastwood in some of his later stuff was like...
Like, if he had a cowboy hat on, you would be able to tell the difference.
Not quite that bad.
It's quite westerny, isn't it? The last...
Yeah, a little bit. It's in a sort of...
modern western.
Yeah, like a small town in the south of Arizona.
Mm.
It's they basically just have to stop this guy coming through. So they
stop this guy coming through.
This guy
it's like a Last Stand almost.
Yeah, this guy has like military dudes, and they don't. There's like 4 of them, and they're all fairly idiot.
So it's the end of Skyfall.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or Home Alone.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. And you went and saw Django today.
I saw Django Unchained today. Yeah.
The Django.
It's pretty good. It was a bit too long. I think they could have edited it down and it would have been a bit better. But
I know, you see how I felt there. It's about the same length as The Hobbit. It's just a weird thing. I didn't notice the length quite so much in The Hobbit as I did in Django. But
yeah, I preferred it to The Hobbit. I mean, The Hobbit was fine, but it wasn't as nearly on. Good as
Django had a few of those moments where it's like, oh wait, the story's still going.
Yeah, it's like massive set piece and stuff. Hold on, there's still a plot here.
It's like they didn't actually resolve it fully.
That wasn't the end.
Oh, right, we better go back and sort this out.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, there was a bit of a disjoint there when
it's like
Tarantino actually appeared on screen.
Without trying to go too spoilerific, it's like when they ended up at Candyland. It's like I thought, there can't be much more to this now. Oh, it just keeps going.
No.
There's like a whole other hour at that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, but like top quite high billing on the thing is Samuel L. Jackson, and he doesn't turn up until you get to Candyland.
Till the last third.
Yeah, it's like, and then he's pretty awesome. That's good.
It's a good film. It's a good film. Cool.
But definitely check it out.
I wonder if you could watch it turn it into 3 episodes or something like. There's probably some key points where you could quite easily stop and come back.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah,
because it's kind of done in like quite self-contained acts in a way. Isn't it?
It could have been a miniseries, I suppose. But yeah,
well, you know what I mean? If you were watching it at home,
you could definitely do that. Yeah,
take a break.
It's definitely true of those Lord of the Rings extended editions. Like, by the time you get to the Council of Elrond, it's like, for fuck's sake, I think I've had enough for a time being.
Yeah,
I'll come back to that. Jeez. Anyway, so films.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
There was a sort of computer game level of body count in Django when the shootouts finally starts. Like, pew. Yeah. Made me want to play Red Dead, obviously.
Obviously. The Undead Nightmare stuff is on sale on...
oh, is it? Well, I already played that
this week, but, just in case.
Undead Nightmare is cool.
It probably won't be by the time I post this, but...
No.
Yeah. I thought they were going to do another one, but they never did.
Oh, what,
another expansion thing?
There are 2 expansions. Oh, there's 3.
Are there?
Well, I don't know. The other 2 might have been multiplayer expansions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think there's any other single-player ones. That one was really good on Dead Nightmare. I thought they'd do another one, but they didn't. Never mind.
It's suppose it's a question of how do you top that. It's like you've already gone balls out crazy. What would you do? Would you go back to the main world, or do something else ridiculous?
Yeah,
aliens,
cowboys and aliens. Clearly.
Oh man, if they got the license, that would have been funny.
Potentially, because they did 2 expansions for GTA 4. Although the second one was a bit weaker, I thought.
Okay, Tony.
Yeah, I preferred the motorcycle one, Lost and Damned.
Was there a third in the end, or did they only do the 2?
No, it's 2.
Well, it's because they changed them from... they were like gradually on doing a curve of them not really being expansions as they went through them. It was like... They're moving further away from being expansions and more to being just like...
a whole new game.
Well not a new game, but sort of like... standalone version.
Well, they did, didn't they? Yeah, they released the Liberty City Stories pack.
Yeah, they just put them together and called it
a standalone game.
Yeah, which is probably quite good. Well, obviously, it's just
it might be how I may prefer to play that game. Because it strips back all the. You don't really do much of the extraneous stuff, do you? Like
not as much. If you haven't played Lost and Damned, I'd recommend checking it out if you find a cheap copy of episodes, or it's on Steam sales and stuff. Lost and Damned is quite nice. And the bikes, they improved the handling of the bikes because you spend most of your time on bikes and it's quite fun, because you can weave through traffic quite a lot.
Yeah, they're quite stable. I remember seeing you play it. And then...
Yeah, they're quite nice. Yeah, it's cool.
Lost in the Damned. That's the one with the cock shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the controversy for that one. Cock shot.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
A bit of dangle.
There's quite a lot of dangle in Django.
Some of the camera work at one point is just like, I don't want to need to be that close to your ass.
Lols.
All up in my face.
So yeah, news.
But speaking of ass,
video game news. Speaking of ass,
speaking of ass,
your favourite topic.
Yeah, that's well known.
There is some sort of very vague ass-related news.
Ass news! The new section.
Did you hear that still alive songwriter Jonathan Coulton did an arrangement of Baby Got Back?
Oh, yes.
Here's the ass link.
This is
It was then shamelessly ripped by Glee.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same arrangement and everything. And yet...
crediting him, yeah.
No, not crediting at all. And Fox have had the gall to say, well, this is just our policy. We can't credit covers of covers. And it's like, sorry, what?
Yeah, it's retarded.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's like... But the problem is it's a shaky legal ground from Jonathan's perspective, as in, you might not actually have much power, because what's to say that their cover just isn't a cover of the original, and that they just happened to do it the same way. From a legal standpoint, I'm not sure he's really got much to go on. It's like he was investigating whether or not they actually used just straight up ripped audio from his version, in which case he will have a case. It will have a case. But
I thought I saw on Reddit that someone had looked at the audio and it was partly his audio, some of the tracks on it, by doing a quick analysis on it.
But even so, it's fucking mean. It's like, how much money that show brings in, and how much they probably had to pay out to put Gaga stuff into the fucking show. And then this one small guy, they're just shitting on. I say small guy, he's a fairly big name, I guess, in the gaming soundtrack community. Yeah. But, just to shit all over him. Shame on you, Fox. Shame on you.
Like everything else about
fucking Fox. Murdoch.
We are watching Fox. That's the best thing even back then in the 90s, like The Simpsons, like they knew they were too good to get cancelled, so they just shit all over their Fox. It's really fun.
Is that where the phrase, like, suck like a fox actually ended up coming from?
I don't know that phrase.
No. I was just like, here comes another great mob phrase that we've never heard of.
Suck like a fox.
It was in The Simpsons a few times. The one I always remember is the one where they were doing where he was the beer baron.
Oh, wait, I know what phrase you're talking about.
And he's bowling, like, down the liquor down the aisle.
It's like, you suck.
And again, oh no, another gutter ball. It's like, you sure do suck tonight, Homer. Suck like a fox.
I think that was probably just...
It's just like a fox is a separate
cunning
phrase.
Like a fox.
Yeah, cunning like a fox. Yeah.
It's like the opposite. It's funny.
Or foxy
comedy.
As in awesome and...
I guess.
Yeah, maybe. But I
don't think that's necessarily meant to be about fox.
I don't think suck like a fox.
Kind of convenient.
It's very close to suck like fox. That's my theory.
That's your theory on suck like a fox. So yes,
it's a bit of a shit.
The fools at Glee.
Yeah,
what are they doing?
Well, singing.
Yeah, basically,
and being more shit than you can possibly imagine. I had the misfortune of being in the same room whilst no one was watching a more recent episode. It's like, God, how is that show still going? It's friggin' awful.
Seems like it's had its time, surely.
Yeah. Well, they've mixed up. Some of the cast is different now. Like half of them have gone or something, or half of it's changed, and it's presumably because the whole Glee Club high school thing doesn't work for this long because they leave school. And some of it
they don't have to.
The actors would get old. It's like,
but they just said they got rid of like half the people, so they could easily just get rid of all of them. So,
oh yeah, they kept some of them, like some of the originals, and following their college dreams or whatever.
Well, that makes sense. They'll run it out until the end of college.
Still,
I guess.
Fuck that shit. Fuck it to hell. I don't know. It's just. I'm just so angry.
Angry on the behalf of Jonathan Coulton, writer of Still Alive.
Got my rage on, etc. So, anyone else know what's been happening with THQ?
Various people have got various bits of it in the auction.
Yeah. Yes. I suppose...
all your favourites are safe.
Yeah, I was quite happy that Sega picked up Relic. Yeah, that seems like a natural fit.
Sega and Relic, that makes sense because they already have Creative Assembly, don't they? So
yeah, for Shogun and all that stuff.
They're kind of the strategy guys now, which is a bit weird, but I mean, Sega as a PC publisher is a bit different to Sega as a Sonic the Hedgehog baker, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's all good.
I think that's going to be a good fit for Sega, I think.
What's died? Darksiders died, right?
Darksiders didn't go anywhere, yeah. That did not get picked up.
Yeah, so that's the one that's gone. But all the other big ones, like Ubisoft got some stuff, didn't they? And
it begs the question what happens with a lot of the things, because there's a lot of... THQ did a lot of just sort of standalone publishing, like, stacking and things like that. Double Fine reached out for some of them. For certain platforms require publishing, and THQ is in a good position to do that sometimes, or was. So there's an interesting status, like, what happens to that IP on that platform? Like some specific rights there. Do they just fall back to Double Fine, for instance, in the case of stacking, or do they... presumably there might be a lot of properties that are just floating that no one wants, and it's like, well, what happens to them? That's like, who gets them? Do we get them? Could I buy them for a penny?
Wouldn't mind. But yeah, most of the key stuff is okay.
So who got Volition?
I can't remember. Oh, it was some weird holdings group or something. It wasn't like a major publisher.
Was it? I thought it was like Activision or something. Wait, was that? Yeah, because Saints Row was...
Oh, well, we're going to check it.
Oh, so Activision have got it.
I think
so. Well, that makes sense as well. That's a relatively good fit.
Well, Activision got something. I think it might be that one.
Yeah, we should see the...
There's Vigil as well.
Like a diagram where everything goes...
Oh, no, wait, or was it that those other dudes? I mean, we might be more right about it being in the holding company. It was because Volition was the one of them. One of these things got bought by the people who are behind the people who made Dead Island.
Right.
It was like it was like the Dead Island company's parent company bought one of them. Maybe that was what you were thinking of.
Possibly.
Maybe that's what I was getting wrong.
All right, here we go. Here's the breakdown. Right, this is what happened.
Break it down.
Okay, so Sega end up getting the Company of Heroes developer Relic.
Yeah.
26.6 million it cost them, beating off Bethesda by 0.3 million. So pretty close bidding there for Relic.
How is that? I don't understand how that even happens in an auction like that.
Well, it depends. Are they like blind auctions? Like everyone puts their bid in and then they total them up and then it's like whoever bids the most? Or do they do
then surely it'd be even less likely to be 0.3 of a million out. Like, I'm changing this number by 0.3.
Well, it depends. I wonder if the analysts are all sort of, they're that good at valuing companies in video game land that they... I don't know, maybe there's some sort of maybe it's just based on sales of their games or something to come up with something. Maybe there's more of a process to doing it.
It's like if it was a blind auction, it was hella coincidental that it was that close. Yeah. And if it wasn't a blind auction, it's like, how is that even the minimum bid? It's like 300,000 out of 29 million. It's like, I'm going to bump you by 0.3 of a million.
But see, this is another...
And then you won't bump back or something.
Well, maybe they've been bumping for a while.
Okay, you guys were totally wrong about Volition. It's a bit of a weird one. Koch Media bought Saints Row developer Volition.
That's the Dead Island.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's what I said.
Koch. Oh, did you?
Right.
That's what I said the second time.
Okay.
When I remembered what Dan was talking about.
Yeah, it's not like a big publisher, like I said.
It's like a parent company of another company.
They do publishing, don't they, Koch?
Well, yeah, because Dead Island, presumably.
Yeah. But anyway, the interesting thing with that is that they bid 23 million for the studio. And the only other bid was from Ubisoft, who bid 5.4 million. That's harsh, if you ask me.
So evidently it was a blind auction then.
It seems that way.
I'll bid you up by 18 million.
But you're not going to do that.
Well, it seems like Ubisoft, judging by the next entry, were just playing the what kind of scraps can we pick up for nothing game. They weren't willing to put down real money. But even so, that's a bit. I was expecting someone like Activision to want to pick up Saints Row, but because what do Activision have these days other than
the one that makes all the money?
But I suppose I forgot about that.
The two that make all the money.
Yeah, good point. They don't really have quite as wide a range as they used to.
Yeah, maybe they don't need diversity when they got Call of Duty.
No, because Guitar Hero isn't exactly a thing for them anymore. So
that's true.
That was their other money spinner. Maybe that's Activision's gig. They're pretty good at finding the one the odd one thing now that makes them tons and tons of money.
Yeah.
Rather than having a portfolio like they used to.
I can't see Call of Duty going out of fashion in the same way as Guitar Hero, though. I don't
know.
Say that all the time.
Yeah, it depends. Well, no, probably not. It probably won't go out of fashion in terms of sales, but it's starting to dip. Like, not in terms of sales, but like the opinion of it is dipping.
Apart
Even
from
if
not,
you keep saying the
yeah, apart from
I do.
Black Ops 2 it went up again.
The Black Ops 2 gets better, but I think public opinion of Call of Duty fatigue. I hear more about people going fucking Call of Duty. I'm not going to play another one. Kind of, you hear that sentiment more, but sales obviously lie. It's an awkward scenario.
Keep buying it.
So Ubisoft now own THQ Montreal.
What did they
I can't remember what they did. They might have been were they the guys behind the UFC games?
Maybe.
Not sure. That was the only bid. So Ubisoft did basically just crapshoot that one and pick it up. Vigil has no buyer. So that's why Darksiders is unpicked up, I guess.
Yeah, it's gone.
They didn't get the IP or a buyer. That's a real shame, because Darksiders is supposed to be a good game.
Yeah,
both of them.
Pretty good.
Oh yeah, you played it, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't in the end, but...
It's all your fault. So, Crytek have purchased the Homefront IP.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
What?
That doesn't
Homefront? Why would you want to buy that shit?
I think it was just like eliminating competition, because it's just like a game where you shoot Koreans.
Well, you want a monopoly on Korean murder?
Yeah.
Although in fairness, Crysis moved away from that after the first game.
It's true. Maybe they want to bring it back.
Yeah. Or maybe they think they can do a better job, that they didn't mind what the series was attempting, but feel they can do a better job.
Maybe they think they can make a better job of making Koreans to shoot.
It didn't sell too bad.
They've already done it before.
It wasn't a super hit, but Homefront wasn't too bad of a box office thing. Maybe they felt it had some weight in it. So anyway, they paid $500,000 for the IP.
Oh, I thought it was $250,000.
I don't know, $500,000. Well, in dollars, it's probably roughly like £250,000, maybe. Probably a bit more than that, but no other bids. Koch purchased the Metro IP. Maybe that's what Montreal did, but either way, that's weird because if Koch have Metro, but they didn't buy the developer because Volition don't do that.
Well, now they will. I don't see why they can't. It's basically an open world game, sort of. Or a third-person shooter, I guess. Actually, I don't know if Metro... No, Metro is first, isn't it?
I think so.
From what little I've seen of it.
Oh, yeah, just reading on. This particular post hasn't organised it too well. Koch do own Saints Row's IP as well, as part of the Volition deal.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has bought the South Park rights.
That's right.
Because that game's going to come out regardless.
Stick of truth, yeah.
Yeah. Obsidian are working on that, aren't they? So
yeah.
So THQ were just acting as a publisher for an Obsidian-built game, so they weren't owned or anything. So that will still happen.
I thought Bethesda said they wanted to get into publishing last year sometime. Apparently they don't.
They must have made it.
Well, they are a publisher, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but that's what they only just. It was like the first time they published a game was last year, and they were like, "We're going to get into publishing," and then.
Well, didn't they publish Rage?
I don't know. Did they? You're the one who played it. Look at the title screen.
ID Bethesda. I think Bethesda put that one out.
Rage.
Yeah, I think that was the one that they were like, "Now we're a publisher,"
and they haven't done anything since. In fairness, ID and Bethesda have been fairly quiet for a while.
Well, Bethesda's all about Elder Scrolls Online, aren't they?
Yeah.
Basically, at this point.
Well, I suppose the other expansions for Skyrim.
Soon-ish.
Really?
Supposedly.
Yeah, Skyrim expansions. Well, they must be working on a sequel to Skyrim.
Elder Scrolls Online.
No, because that's a completely different kind of character, isn't it? It's not the same or similar.
Well, they wouldn't do a Skyrim 2, would they? They did Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls 6, but
yeah, but they'll.
And I reckon that one will be a next gen.
Yeah,
title.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to make these things.
Yeah, so
They've got to get the online out of the way first, though.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a success. Like every online game.
Nor do I think that won't be the same team.
No, it's not. No, it's not. They've been working on it side by side for the whole time.
Or maybe. They may have been working on it, maybe, but...
They have.
Suddenly it's come out, suddenly it's appeared.
And the art style is like completely different and more cartoony than Skyrim.
I don't know about completely different. Little bits of it I've seen look quite similar. In terms of... I mean, it has to, really, because it's the same world, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
They want it to be vaguely consistent.
Is it the whole world, or is it part of it? Or?
It's a different part of it. Oh. Like how all the other Elder Scrolls games have been various different parts of the continent or whatever. And I think the online one is meant to be like in the past or whatever. It's like getting to tell the tale of some event that happened.
Okay.
That I'm not familiar with. Because I don't really care about the history of Elder Scrolls.
No. I really don't either. It's a weird universe where you kind of don't care about a lot of the lore at all because it's just not there.
These elf dudes are bad.
It's just very generic kind of fantasy going on in Elder Scrolls, I always felt. And Skyrim makes up for it by having kind of... I don't know how, but it somehow does make up with it for it to some extent. The story's not really that important, though, or background.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like most of Skyrim, you don't give a shit about the story.
Yeah.
It's like, why these elves are evil for some reason that we don't really care about. It's some accord or some shit.
Some bollocks. And
then we get an Elder Scroll, of course, because
that's
why
the
not?
name of the game.
Derp, why didn't I think of that? Ubisoft bought THQ Montreal for the obvious reason that Ubisoft obviously has a big presence in Montreal.
Well... That's not necessarily a good reason.
Well, there's a convenient reason.
I guess, yeah.
I forgot about that. That makes sense.
Who made Deus Ex and all that shit?
It was Ion Storm originally.
No, I mean Human Revolution.
Square.
That's Square.
Yeah. But they're Canadian, aren't they?
Yeah, that studio is, yeah.
Is that Montreal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't they doing...
That's why one of the levels in Deus Ex is in...
Oh, that's right. It's in Montreal, yeah.
And then you can't see any... you come on top of that building, you're like, where's the tower? I want to see the tower. And it's not, because that's not. As we discussed previously.
Yeah. What were you thinking of? Another Canadian city? Or were you thinking of Seattle? No.
Well,
I got confused.
That as well.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Space Needle.
Yeah, there's that one.
Yeah.
That's only in that game. What's it called?
What is the Space Needle?
Yeah.
Oh, World in Conflict.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, because it's Seattle, yeah.
Yeah. Because you fuck up the Space Needle. Well, you don't have to, but it gets fucked up in general.
Yeah.
By just existing on the battlefield. That's how it tends to happen in World in Conflict.
Yep.
Yeah, shit just gets blown up.
That game was crazy.
That game was awesome.
Why didn't they make a sequel to that?
It's a very good question.
Oh, what are they doing? Who is it?
It's
forgotten. They made grand...
Talk about yourselves, I'm going to look behind me and kick the table.
Kick the table. You can't reach it.
It's Sierra and Massive.
Oh, well, Massive. Sierra disappeared, so that explains that, I guess.
What the hell did Massive go on to do?
Let's find out.
I don't know. I think...
And then Rob can use his iPad.
Silence. Radio silence.
This is where you guys are supposed to fill in for me if I'm doing it.
Well, I don't know. If we move on, then we'll have to come back to this, and it won't make any sense.
He's Googled Massive. Massive Attack.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Just Google some Massive.
Yeah, that didn't work too well.
Safe search on.
Super Massive. It might be owned by Ubisoft now.
Ubi.
Hmm.
Acquired by Vivendi in 2002.
Yeah, what have they made since Ground Control? Is the question.
Oh, apparently they were involved in Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 3.
Oh. Yeah, but everyone was involved in Assassin's Creed, so that doesn't really count. So it sounds that's an Ubisoft thing. Every single studio they have works on all of their projects.
Yeah, so it sounds like Massive now operate as one of Ubisoft's many helper studios.
Do some of our work.
Yeah.
That's a shame. We need more awesome strategy games of Doom.
Do we? I don't know.
No?
Sega's got that tied up.
Well, it's XCOM.
Gas-powered games is going out of business. Sort of, maybe.
What, the
Supreme Commander.
Supreme Commander dudes. Well, you've got that Kickstarter for Planetary Annihilation.
Yeah, but that's not them.
I know, but...
They're on Kickstarter now.
Right. Oh, are they?
Yeah, it was sort of weird. They made a Kickstarter for a game that they were working on, or trying to start working on, or whatever it was. But it sort of turned into a Save the Company Kickstarter, because about that time they were like, oh shit, we actually need this money now.
Oh no.
We're not just trying to get funds because we want money, we're trying to get funds because if we don't, we're not going to be able to do it at all.
Shit.
So yeah.
That's a shame.
Not really. Gas Powered kind of sucked. It was all like, oh, it's Chris Taylor, he's going to make awesome games, but then he doesn't.
But then
oh shit.
Well, I don't really like to see any developer studio go under. You know,
well, not everyone can be a success.
No, yeah. But I mean, you never want to see it. But Supreme Commander weren't bad games.
They kind of were. They were like hella average.
Let's hope Planetary Annihilation is better.
But that's the thing, were they average? Because they came out at, even if they were, they came out at a time when there wasn't really much going on the strategy scene.
That's all the time.
That's what they were playing on, though. It was
it is now. Anyway.
We're going to bring back Total Annihilation in this new awesome game, and it was like, oh, it's kind of shit.
But it wasn't TA, was it? It was still grand scale.
Yeah.
And you seemed to enjoy it at the time. You played it a lot.
Well, Supreme Commander was okay, but it wasn't complicated or it didn't really have mission.
Well, I suppose TA never really had much in the way of strategy, to be honest.
Well, it had more strategy than Supreme Commander.
It was always just brute force, I think.
Well, yeah, you played it like that, really. But
except for my tactic, which was always just build the big fucking long-range turrets and nuke shit from afar.
Well, yeah, that was the main strategy. But that was still a strategy. It was like you had to defend your base for long enough to actually build the damn thing.
Yeah. That was how I always played skirmishes.
Yeah. But
it made them last really long.
It was like Supreme Commander didn't have any it was like all the units were generically the same and all the three sides were the same and they only looked different.
Yeah, that I had a bit more of a problem with. Again, that was a TA throwback though, because the sides were fairly similar.
No, they weren't. That was the difference. That was why TA was better, because Core and ARM had units that filled the same roles but were actually different enough to make it different.
I never felt that. I always felt Core and ARM were, just again slightly different models. They were slightly different. Like one would use lasers more than like the pew pew mini guy. There'd always be slight changes.
And the later units were totally different. Like the stupid giant the cam, whereas the hugely armored robot that one team gets. Can't remember which. I think that's Core.
Yes, I remember. But do you know what I mean? That's the kind of they're almost the equivalent of Supreme Commander's like ridiculous units.
Yeah, but then Supreme Commander's ridiculous units were like too ridiculous. Really, they kind of they were like there was like a big jump in the scale, whereas like in the Supreme Commander thing, it was like Tech 1, Tech 2, and Tech 3 were all like virtually the same, and then you had the Civ units which were miles up the other end of the scale.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. I'll agree with that.
And then Supreme Commander 2 was poop, so there you go.
Well, it was a very different attempt, wasn't it? And do you reckon they tried to bite off some of the World in Conflict pie?
No, they tried to simplify it in other ways.
Or StarCraft it?
Well, not really even that. It was just like, everything was weirdly based on upgrade trees for like every unit had its own upgrade tree, except those didn't even matter either. You'd think that would make a big difference, but it was just like you just upgrade and there you go. It was just like another step.
Probably better than Halo was.
Probably.
Anyway,
and then all the other gas powered games were like whatever's.
What did they do?
Like Dungeon Siege or something.
No, did they?
I can't remember. Something like that.
Yeah, kind of these
other games that people didn't care very much about. Which explains why they
there was a period, wasn't there, where PC games were a bit like that for a while, where there seemed to be quite a number of releases, but all of them seemed kind of naff. There's a few that passed us by, I think, that were. I don't think any of us are that interested in, like, the Mountain Blade series, which is supposed to be quite good, but I have zero interest in. And, again, there's that Chivalry game that came out fairly recently, which is, again, supposed to be quite good. Same sort of time period, mysteriously. But it's like, there just seemed to be tons of those sort of games that came out all of a sudden. They all looked middling to me, so I wasn't interested. And it's like maybe, when maybe Gas Powered are involved in that somewhere. I don't know.
So, strategy games.
Strategy games have had a bit of a dearth, haven't they, really? Because what were the last really good ones? Like, Dawn of War 2 is pretty great.
You're making me think.
Company of Heroes was pretty great, but that was soon after World in Conflict, really. That was around that time.
Advance Wars Dual Strike.
Oh, Shogun, I suppose, counts, though.
Yeah, Shogun Total War 2 is pretty good.
Some people think Red Alert 3 was okay, but...
Well, not as good as 2, though.
No,
really.
obviously.
2 was awesome. That was ages ago now, though.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't play... Last CNC game I played was CNC 3. Briefly.
Did you play Red Alert 2?
I played Red Alert 2, yeah. Red Alert 2 was great. And it was like, that was the game that redeemed Tiberium Sun or whatever it was.
Yeah, I kind of want to play Red Alert 2 again, just for hilarity's sake. And the hilarious videos were quite funny.
Yeah, because the tech was sort of there, wasn't there, with the proper CNC sequel, CNC 2, or where is it Tiberium Sun? Was that the actual name? Yeah. It was because the tech was there. It looked kind of impressive at the time. It's just I found the game really awkward.
Yeah, Tiberium Sun was a bit weird, to say the least.
It didn't feel good.
No.
And I always preferred Red Alert out of the original 2 anyway.
Yeah,
and it's
true.
Then Red Alert 2 came out.
Although Red Alert 2
let's go balls out crazy this time.
Yeah.
And it was...
Well, Red Alert 2, the original Red Alert had a totally different feel. It wasn't crazy, really. It was like very Cold War-y and very dark.
It's like the story was kind of, it was almost like, I suppose Westwood at the time were a bit bonkers anyway with how they set things up. So it had that kind of cheesy feel that they were known for, but... Yeah, it played it relatively straight.
Yeah, it definitely did. Whereas Red Alert 2 went crazy, but it suited it.
Yeah, it does. Wildly.
I wouldn't mind a game that was like the original Red Alert, though.
Yeah, perhaps someone could try it again. Like alternative history.
I don't know how it would look now, though.
That's what World in Conflict was.
Yeah, I guess that's what World in Conflict was trying to do.
Oh, yeah, but that didn't have that was taking the realistic stance, wasn't it, rather than...
Yeah.
Chronospheres.
Yeah, it didn't have Albert Einstein.
Yeah, but they just didn't explain it in World in Conflict. They didn't say some guy went back in time and changed history. It was just like, this is what is happening.
Yeah. In 1980s America for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good, though.
Yeah, it was cool. I guess that is what I was asking for, really, isn't it? World in Conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Although, I guess even in Red Alert, they did kind of have some amount of slight elements of craziness.
Yeah.
Once you got to chronospheres and shit.
And you got Tanya and shit. She's pretty insane.
Cha-ching! It's more in 2, though. More in 2, though.
Yeah,
she wasn't quite so crazy in 1.
No, she was pretty
crazy. She was pretty crazy, but not. Well, she wasn't part of the story.
Yeah.
She was just a unit, basically.
Yeah.
She was sort of in the story.
Yeah, but not nearly as much. It's like in 2, she's basically the main character of the Allied campaign.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I suppose. She's got the crazy president dude.
Yeah, but he doesn't stick around for long. As soon as you unmind control him, and he's like, I have to go hide in the bunker now. I'm never going to see you again.
That president dude in Red Alert 2 is like one of the main characters in Twin Peaks. It's just really weird when I went to watch Twin Peaks. It's like, it's the president from Red Alert 2. I was serious. Yeah.
How weird. Any other news?
News. Oh, are we talking news?
Oh, did I talk about the extra characters that are going to be in the PC version of Sonic and Sega
but I have
All-Stars
seen,
Racing Transformed?
I have seen that. I don't understand. Are they like the 3 TF2 characters that are in it? Are they like one car?
You know what? I'm not sure. I think it might have been
Probably.
3 different characters, like in different, depending on what mode it's in.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
So the heavy, the pyro, and the medic, I think it was.
Spy.
That was the spy. I'm sure I heard the medic in the trailer.
So is the pyro like the car and the spy's the plane?
When I watched that trailer, I was like, did they not get the real voices? Because they sound totally different.
Oh, no, I thought they got the real ones.
No, I'm not sure they did.
I thought they just ripped samples straight out of the game.
And particularly, well, weirdly, the pyro is the one that sounds least like the actual pyro. Even though you'd think it would be quite easy to imitate.
So there's that, and there were a couple others, weren't they?
The Shogun.
Oh, right.
Shogun, which it just looks pretty cool, actually, because the boat form is like a typical sort of Japanese stylized fish.
Right.
Like, is it carp?
Yeah.
Trout?
Yeah,
one of
carp.
those two. Yeah, carp, big mouth thing. Looks really cool. The third one is the shit one, to be honest, because it's like, well, what other PC franchises could we link in with? Let's go with Football Manager.
Of course.
And they put a car in it called the Tactician. Because football's for wheels.
Is Football Manager Championship Manager, or is it different? I can't remember what's happened with those franchises. Because there used to be 2 competing, weren't there? And I think they swapped over at one point or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I never cared.
No. Well, Championship Manager was like amazing back when you didn't have very good graphics, and that was like all you could.
Well, yeah, you had to use all of your computer's power at the time to run the figures
to work out the what was going to go on in the match.
Because it simulated everything, not just your matches. It was running
all the matches.
It was running the simulations properly on everything.
Freaking crazy! That's an insane game.
Well, to a point, it wasn't running them as quite the same, but it did a lot of work. I don't know. It might be. I think I have a feeling in my head that it was the same team, that Sega acquired it, and it just sort of changed names, and it probably wasn't. It's probably not the same IP because maybe the team had troubles and they all sort of jumped ship, and Sega are like, well, whatever, make the same game. We'll just call it something else.
I remember going in the video rental shop in Needham Market and seeing them behind the counter just playing Championship Manager. Like, lol.
Awesome. Yeah, they were a big deal. They're not so much anymore. I suppose people play FIFA now.
I suppose. It's a bit different though, isn't it?
Or they join in a fantasy football league, I don't know. FIFA. I still find it fucking weird that the Xbox has that whole show devoted to FIFA, the boot room, or whatever. Like it's just FIFA all the time.
Yep, it's like people watch football all the time,
but there's not like gameplay really. It's like how to play it and stuff like that. Like it's
right.
I don't know, it's just like, can that show really run for that long? Apparently so. It's like, I don't get it, but...
How many episodes are?
Is there really that much depth in a FIFA game system?
How recently have you looked is the other question.
I just know that it comes up with new updates every now and then. And it's like, they haven't looked at them in detail, but... What do I care about FIFA? Fuck that game.
It's supposed to be quite good. Don't really care.
Yeah, I just don't care about sports games.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like not any of them anymore.
Used to like NHL.
Yeah,
no longer.
But NHL has gone downhill since 2002. NHL 2002 is clearly the defining moment of that series because it's the most fun.
It's been 10 years since it was good.
2001 though, wasn't it?
No, it was 2K2 we used to play a lot.
I thought we tried 2K2.
I had 2003 on the GameCube.
Well, yeah, I remember
that. Was the one I thought
we tried and upgraded from the PC one we were playing.
I think that might have been a few years later. No, 2002 is definitely the one we got into with the modding and the Chemical Brothers. It was sweet.
So yes,
it had such an emphasis on just beating people the fuck down, which was just fun. Hard check.
So more news. I don't know if I saw any. I saw some stories this week, I guess. PS Vita is doing terribly, naturally.
No, I don't think anyone was really surprised.
Yep, so that...
by that.
Either the article was basically saying either they cut the price and sell it at a loss, which is a gamble, obviously, or it's fucked.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to mention, actually, about Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing again. It's like £20 price point.
Yeah.
So what the hell is... Whatever Sega's doing to like pull that stuff off when they have to release them full price on consoles, keep doing it. I like it. Maybe the Sonic name just isn't worth very much on PC, so like, fuck it, whatever, we'll make it half price.
Speaking of dumb pricing...
It's not dumb.
That's great. I'm all for that.
Yeah, but that's dumb pricing as in, like... I'm not saying that is dumb, I'm saying the fact that it has to be that much on consoles is dumb.
Okay.
What is the price of dumb?
Yeah, that is the question.
Is there some kind of dumb market?
Speaking
There's definitely dumb markets.
Get your dumb hit.
I call the Duty market. Anyway.
Speaking of dumb pricing, I went and looked on Amazon to see how it's... Well, I went and looked around to see...
Mass Effect 3?
No, I only have that.
You have that?
Yeah, I've had it since Christmas when I bought it.
I didn't
told you about that. But then you said, are you going to play it? And I was like, no, I'm not going to play it yet.
Oh, so you have it and you're not going to play it?
Not yet.
Oh.
I might get around to it
at
at
some point. Complaining about being bored when you've got like Mass Effect 3
to play Mass Effect 3.
Okay, why'd you buy it then?
Because I might want to play it at some point.
Okay.
And if I have it, it will be easier for me to actually do that when it comes to the thing where I could really go for some Mass Effect 3, but then if at that point I had to order it, I probably wouldn't.
Did Mass Effect 2 really jade you that much then? Or?
I don't know. Maybe.
You should get into
also, it's the fact that I still feel like I'd want to play some of the DLCs, like maybe the Shadow Broker one.
Yeah, people say
but then they're never going to go down in price, so that kind of puts me off of that.
Oh, right,
and therefore, I'm like, but I don't want to start Mass Effect 3 and do the classic completion problem.
Yeah, people say that's the one to do if you're going to do any of the Mass Effect 2 DLC.
Which was another thing which would have been nice if I could have used those stupid vouchers on Origin. Because then I could have bought the Shadowbreaker DLC.
When you played 2, did you play with like Zaid and Firewalker?
Yeah.
Okay, so you at least had that.
Yeah, not that those are important.
No, Zaid was nice to have about because added quite a lot for free.
Yeah.
And the Firewalker wasn't important.
Well, the Firewalker was kind of nice to be a vehicle thing, just to show that they could do a vehicle thing, and it wasn't shit.
And
not completely, anyway.
No, and the Normandy crash site was a bit of a throwaway.
Yeah, that.
I'm glad that was free.
But yeah, speaking of dumb pricing, after looking at that SimCity shit deal, I went and looked on Amazon and Game, because their website's around, surprisingly. They still sell games after they recovered, and it was the same price as Amazon, but I was like, oh look, on Game and Amazon, it's 35 quid. Fuck you, Origin.
What is the Super Edition?
No, the limited edition. Oh. The one that's 45 or something on Origin.
What the fuck? What's wrong with them?
Yep. So it's just like, fuck you, Origin.
Jeez.
They will lose.
Yep.
Everything.
I don't understand.
But the more I've seen of SimCity, the more worried I am.
Well, the beta's happening right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it like cities are just small?
Yeah, it looks like the cities are small, and the region thing looks... Well, it looks dumb, and it also might be dumb.
In the comments I've been saying it looks more like a kind of Tropico style game rather than SimCity.
Yeah. Things are looking suspiciously simplistic, basically.
Damn it.
Well, wait for it. Guess what game they're going to play? DLC.
Yeah, and that. Everyone thinks that. And always on. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's all multiplayer. You can't not be in a... Well...
Oh, really?
It's not a really multiplayer. It's like... it's going to have some other cities in the vicinity.
Like Spore, kind of.
Was this in the region, you mean?
Yeah.
Was Spore always on multiplayer? Or did it...
Well, not because it downloaded the creatures and stuff.
Yeah, other players never affected your world, but the creatures and their creations could infiltrate your game rather than your system building them or pulling from a library.
But I'm fairly sure in SimCity it will be like you'll be able to have private regions. Because otherwise that'd be dumb. Otherwise, how would you play with people you actually care about?
Yeah.
You don't just want everywhere on your map to be populated by random people.
Yeah.
You want to be able to lock it down somewhat.
Who knows? But
apparently all the save games are going to be stored on the cloud.
Okay.
So if you disconnect, you're fucked.
Well... That's what they've been saying. You're fucked if you disconnect, right?
Well, yeah, but in this case, specifically because the save files are in the cloud, it's like, if we can't sync your save because your internet connection goes down, you just lose it.
Well, it depends how it plays, like, because if it's like always on in a way, maybe it's doing, Delta updates quite frequently.
Well, they say, like, we'll allow you to preserve your game for like a couple of minutes in case your connection goes down and comes back. Like, a couple of minutes is how long their update cycle is, I guess, on refreshing the save files.
Great.
And then there's, like, weird global market, like selling raw materials and stuff, and that's probably going to go really badly for them. Because inevitably, anytime there's any kind of market simulation and you have real people involved, it's going to get fucked.
It always goes quite extreme, doesn't it? Like, they never seem to balance out like a real-world economy. It's either, like, things just don't... their prices go super high or super low.
Well, it's because there'll always be an exploit somewhere, like Eve. You can't get away from it. There's always somewhere in the market where it's like, we secretly know that this one material is only made in these specific locations and we get tons of money because we're exploiting that.
Oh yeah, but that's cool in Eve context.
Yeah, but it's not going to be cool in SimCity, clearly, because their thing isn't going to be nearly as expansive. In Eve, it's like, there's so many different things to do, it kind of, even though it is an exploit that's making a shit ton of money for someone, or not really an exploit, it's exploitable, and it's making a shit ton of money for someone, it sort of gets drowned out in the largeness of the market. Like, a few people are getting a ton of money. Yeah.
I predict that their servers will crash on day one.
Probably, but then that always happens.
Yeah, have to die by 3. That if anyone's going to know how much traffic they're going to get, it's the people that make World of Warcraft, and they still manage to fuck it up.
You know what else is worrying about this? Because if it gives that game a shelf life.
Yeah. They turn off the servers.
Yeah, that's horrid. SimCity 4 is probably still fun to play right now.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, but this is the thing, actually. I wonder if this is, another experiment on EA's part to try and find a pricing model that's going to help them, like, long term. You know what EA's like.
What pricing model are they looking at?
Well, if games have shelf lives and they force them, then it's almost starts forcing players to have to buy the next edition. Like always on DRM systems for Ubisoft. Like if they decide to turn off that server,
I don't know if
it forces everyone else to move on to another edition or do something else.
I don't really buy that kind of argument because it's like I can see where if that might be what they're thinking, but if you look at Call of Duty, like the actual multiplayer doesn't change much between editions, but it doesn't stop everyone buying the freaking new one, does it? Because everyone wants the new shit.
Oh yeah, because it's the most value for money way to get like the most new, I suppose, isn't it? That's why I don't subscribe to the DLC stuff for Call of Duty, because it is frankly a rip-off.
Yeah.
And it's as much as I might.
That's why it's there, though. It's for people who have to have everything Call of Duty.
Exactly.
And therefore, they rip them off because they want to be ripped off.
And Halo's the same thing. They're quite expensive with their packs, and will occasionally do a deal that makes them slightly more reasonable. But yeah, I don't know. The cynic in me thinks that EA have tried to pull a lot of shit recently, and maybe the experimentation wagon is still rolling. It's like there's a lot.
Experimentation wagon. Welcome to the experimentation wagon. Oh shit!
I don't think that SimCity is the place that they'd want to do that experiment on.
No,
I don't think it's large enough I don't think SimCity is large enough for them to get meaningful data. Basically,
it is large.
It's large, but it's not like super large. It's not like The Sims. If they made The Sims free like this,
but maybe The Sims has like run its course now, and they're trying. SimCity, so it has got.
They're still releasing shit for The Sims free.
Not be a Sims 4, I expect.
SimCity has a bit of a hype train behind it, though.
Yeah, but not really. It's like
in our community of like PC gamers who've been playing SimCity for years. Maybe
people
not.
Who like SimCity.
In the wider market, most people probably don't remember SimCity now. Well, I'm not saying most people, but
and it's not exactly had like super marketing push or anything.
Not yet.
I don't think it will.
It might.
Yeah, it might do. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw big posters for that on the underground and stuff.
Is there going to be a console version?
No.
No. So okay, that's wise. It probably means it'll be a better game.
I don't think they could make a console version with that architecture.
I'm surprised they didn't try.
They could probably try and make it work on some kind of tablet or some shit.
Yeah, you could work on tablet, but
they already made shitty versions of SimCities for social shit.
That's true.
And those turned out really bad.
Yeah, really bad.
It would be interesting on a Surface Pro, that's for sure.
It's almost the ideal place for it. I doubt they'd have thought about, what are we going to do for touchscreen laptops? Oh, we're going to add touchscreen controls to our games. Not. It's like, no. Although that would be kind of cool in places.
I think one of my main... it's like, the thing that annoyed me the most about is like, when I saw video of when they do these demonstration videos of like playing the game, it's like, that looks fine. It looks like a game.
Yeah.
I was playing that for me. But it's when they're showing screenshots and like stuff that's not the actual main game screen, like the overview of the region and stuff. It's like, now it looks really dumb. It's like these little tiny pocket cities and then like mysterious green open space between them and they're connected by pointless roads.
Right. So it doesn't look...
And also, like...
SimCity 4, the landscapes kind of look kind of real.
Well, it's because you can make them.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that worries me about it, is like, I haven't seen a single case where the landscape isn't totally flat.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, in one screenshot of a region, there's like one city which looks like the corner of the map has a slight slope in it, and I'm like, is that actually in the city or not? I can't tell. But if it is like... That's not necessarily a bad thing, because, I mean... Probably 90% of the cities I made in SimCity 4 were made on flat terrain. But that's more because I was about, like, theoreticals rather than, I didn't want to battle the landscape. I wanted to try and battle the systems of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know.
But it's like, it just seemed, and all the fact that these areas seem quite small and they're just square, and then you end up with these weird, it's the classic, it happened in SimCity 4 to some extent, where it's just like, you have this incredibly square city that's just sitting in the middle of this open plain. It looks kind of weird.
You kind of need to at least be battling like crazy rivers and stuff like in real cities. A lot of them are on flat floodplains because they're in the middle of a valley, but they have crazy rivers and shit going through them.
Yeah, you want bridges and shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's more fun.
But that was always the thing that maybe, well, I suppose it's against its name, it's SimCity, but a bit of me always kind of wanted perhaps for them to try and model like the sprawling out of town sort of like less, you could do the less dense stuff.
It's like you could almost do that in SimCity 4.
Yeah.
Because you could make neighbouring regions and just have a farm region with like a small town in it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They were just one big zone, or almost. They never looked quite right. Maybe it's just a fundamental visual thing. Well, I think they never felt satisfying.
Well, I think they could just make this look a lot better just visually by making it so that on the region map, it's like when a city is nearing the boundary of the square, it like adds decorative suburbs on the region map to make it look like an actual city.
Maybe.
I guess. Perhaps the area you're allowed to build in is actually somewhat. So the regions don't like literally bump up against each other. So and then they can do like nice sort of connecting highways.
Well, it's the way that, another thing that's on this new SimCity region map is like you have the free cities that three different people can theoretically play, and then this kind of looks dumb in itself. It's basically a group of free cities and then one position for a special project, and then another group of free cities and its position for a special project. And it's like that special project could be like an airport, and then that just kind of looks really weird. It's like these free cities, and there's just an airport in the middle of the countryside. Of course.
That is kind of random.
Or a space centre, or a power station.
It's like, power station commuter village, or...
But yeah, it seems like it could be a bit more like...
That would be a really interesting meta game if they decided to make like, in the bigger scale of the map, say that, the special projects you have to build, there's like a certain way of doing those, and everyone who's playing in that area has to sort of like build
what they say.
What makes sense to the
It's like
map.
All three of the cities are going to contribute to the project, but I'm sure that just means money.
But what
else are they going to do?
So it's like it's bigger than the free cities.
Maybe
it's bigger than the free cities. So like affects like your country almost that you're playing on if it has a concept like that. And then
I'm sure they could, but I doubt it would make that much difference.
It could be a bastard. Let's let me put it that way. Cause,
a lot of things
people might not understand that and just build shit, and it's like, oh shit, well I've got to build the crappy stuff.
Well, yeah, a lot of things could be bastards where it's just like, what if you get stuck with some random retard who gets plonked down in the city next to you and he just makes a shit ton of pollution and it fucks you up? That seems quite likely, in fact.
Surely it kind of discourages experimentation.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly.
You're definitely going to be complaining about this game.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think they're trying some interesting things, but I think what they've added and this way of playing perhaps should have been an option.
Yeah. It should have still had a single player mode, basically, is what we're saying.
Yeah, it would have. I think it's it's nice that they're trying to do different things. It's because there's nothing. You could argue that the first 4 SimCities are essentially just the same game, just a bit better each time.
Yeah,
and it's like, this time it's like, let's do something else. And it's
I've decided the first thing that I want to try as an experiment in New SimCity is the first thing I'm going to try and do is determine how well the pathfinding works, because that is always the thing that has been shitty forever.
And that's the thing they've made a big deal of this time as well.
Yeah. So I was thinking about how do you make a test scenario for this? Mm-hmm. So what you obviously have to do is you have to build 2 residential plots on either side of 2 parallel roads, and then build an industrial zone off to one side. So then if it's retarded, everyone from the plot that's on the opposite side will try and commute down the wrong road, and then that road will get super congested, and then it will just be retarded. If it's clever, eventually it will balance it out, because it will be people will go, oh no, that road's too crowded, I'll better try this other route.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it's clever, you'll get a small percentage of arseholes who use your residential suburb road outside your fucking house.
Well, that too, yeah.
God damn it. Fucking hate that.
So yeah, that's going to be my experiment. I'm going to make that situation and be like, okay, let's see. But of course, that kind of relies on can I get that data out of the game? Because actually in SimCity 4 they did add that into the expansion where you could have the route query that showed you where people were actually travelling.
Well, they've got all these data layers shit.
Yeah, but it's like, what does that really show?
That's a good question.
Data?
Yeah, I guess. But it's like,
but how much?
look at this power flowing out. It's like, here's some blobs flowing along a road and going to the houses. What does that mean? Where are the numbers? I don't just need visual things, I need numbers as well.
Yeah, it's nice enough having like a little visual cue of like message packets moving around the thing, but
well, yeah, that'd be like nice to sort of,
statistics.
you know, at a glance, like where's the problem, and then zoom in and go, how bad is it, and then
I don't even. It's like, that's not how a power grid works.
True.
You don't, the further away you are from the power station doesn't really affect your chance of getting power.
No.
Well, it might if you're really far away and in the shits.
Yes, but then that's why in real life they have like transformer stations and stuff.
I'm not saying that you know, if you're in the middle of nowhere that we actually call it the shits.
It's like, that sort of makes sense for water, I guess. Like, in real life, you have water towers that add pressure.
But electricity doesn't have pressure.
No.
Voltage. I guess it drops, but it drops over the whole network, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You keep the grid to the same frequency all the time. It doesn't matter how far away you are, as long as you're bloody connected.
Yeah.
It's not like those transformer stations like boost the signal or something. That's not how it works.
Well, it's because voltage is a weird thing in itself, really. Where it's like, because it's not based on pressure, where it's like you can shove an electron in at one end and it always comes out at the other one, or not it, another electron does.
Yeah.
Somehow, because that's just how electricity works.
It's mysterious.
So SimCity.
Yeah, god damn it.
Saw a video the other day of the guy actually in the National Control Centre for the National Grid, and he was watching EastEnders, and he knew it was going to end and everyone was going to turn the kettle off.
Yeah,
but it went, and they had all their predictions, but the BBC, like, their timing was off, so it was actually like a minute over, and they were like, shit, it's not finished, and stuff, and the frequency was being plotted in real time on this graph, and then suddenly it ended, and they'd already gone a bit over, and it went down, and he was on the phone saying, for God's sake, activate the crazy
turn on the generators.
Yeah, because they have that crazy one in the Lake District where all the water is stored up.
They pump the water into gravity storage.
Yeah, but then they could release it all within like 1 minute. They were like, fire it off! So cool.
Don't we siphon from France quite frequently?
Yeah. They were talking about that as well. What happened was they... and on that situation was the high voltage line from France tripped, so they had to activate the crazy storage mechanisms. Yeah, it was like, that's hilarious.
March the 5th.
Anyway,
it's apparently when SimCity comes out.
Okay, that's good.
That sounds like a solid date, I guess.
Yeah,
not far away.
Close enough that they probably won't change it at this point, even if there's going to be like secondary patches or some shit, as there always is, of course. It's on Origin, so I guess patches.
No, I hope they're not 3 gig patches.
Yeah, I wonder how big it's going to be.
Fucking Battlefield.
Does GTA have a release date yet?
Yeah.
All those other GTA games are going
yeah, there's millions of GTA games.
I think they gave a sort of rough time frame.
You know what else still doesn't fucking have a release date? Goddamn Starbound. Hurry up and come out already!
Yeah, that is taking too long now.
I want that game to come out! It's looking really awesome. More so every time.
Terraria 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. It's now like new content for Terraria because they're launching on consoles.
Well, yeah, new console content. You won't get it on PC.
I thought you were going to.
No.
Oh, bullshit.
Because it's basically a different team. The team that did the port added the stuff.
Do they have to...
So they're not going to backport it.
I don't know why they had to port it. Surely, if it's X and A, it'd probably work on the Xbox almost straight off.
It is a weird scenario, isn't it?
Yeah. But maybe they ported it to PlayStation.
Perhaps.
I don't know if they did they?
I don't know.
I thought it was on the Xbox.
It'd be very hard to do, wouldn't it? You'd have to rewrite it like Minecraft style.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously there's the controls is probably the main thing to do, especially in Terraria.
Probably, yeah.
They'd do it like a dual stick shooter, surely.
Yeah, it seems so.
Well, except for when you're building, I guess, and then it sort of drops out to Little Big Planet style.
From what I could tell from looking at the video, it looks like when you're using like a mining tool, like the pickaxe or whatever, it kind of does auto select, so it just digs like all of the blocks in front of you in a row, so it goes ding, 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 ding. So you actually dig a passage.
Oh, I see.
Which is kind of useful, I guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there'll probably be some concessions in how that thing plays, but just because of console control. But
yeah, that's a bit late, isn't it? Do people really care about Terraria? Would console people really care about Terraria?
Probably.
Add it to the big pile of Minecraft clones, only it's actually a good one, but no one will know that.
Yeah, it might make a difference. Given, if you think how late Minecraft for Xbox was, how late that was to the party, and that sold, that's the top grossing live arcade game. I don't know. People who know Minecraft tend to know about Terraria, even if they haven't played it. And it's like making it more accessible may be a good move. I'm with you in that I'm slightly skeptical of that, but
I guess the other advantage of console Terraria is it's better for multiplayer. I guess because you're not.
Yeah,
it's like integrated. Well, that's what it's in the Xbox Live environment. It's not like some dude is the server.
I mean,
some dude is the server, just not.
Yeah, Kippers and Jammy. That was the one thing they found with the Xbox version was that finding, even though they have attempted to run Minecraft servers themselves too.
Well, Minecraft servers were always a pain in the ass on the PC version, really. So
yeah, but
that's not that surprising that the Xbox version was better.
Exactly, but I was saying that even with the Xbox's limitations, and I still don't think they've brought it up to speed.
No, they haven't.
And it's that even with those limitations, it's still a nice experience because it just does multiplayer better and local split screen multiplayer at that.
Yeah,
which says it's got some serious benefits. And it does make me wonder if, why didn't they then... couldn't they have, come to some agreement that perhaps, if they're working on this version for the Xbox, that maybe they could make a version for the PC that was XNA powered like that version is, and so, renders well and not Java-based.
Yeah, but I guess that's more to do with development. The PC version was, they're still working on it, and they don't want to have to...
Yeah, I know.
Go back a few versions and then bring it all back up to date again, I guess.
Yeah, it would have been a lot of work, but maybe they would have benefited long run, but...
Maybe they'll do that eventually. No, not XNA, but they'll do it in C++ for reals.
I doubt it.
For reals someday.
Well, what is Notch doing his next game in? Is it still Java?
Yep, of course, that's what he knows.
Well, fuck it. That'd be another ridiculous port effort required coming up. That's if it plays well on consoles.
If it plays well at all, we don't even really know anything about it.
No,
really.
The mystery.
Other than it still sounds a bit weird. So we sort of drifted away from the topic slightly, but there's been
topics.
But the topic of I was getting cynical about game pricing and techniques to try and keep people in the game industry and stuff. The only reason I wanted to bring it back is that I thought, I know you, Dan, aren't a big fan of Michael Pachter, but he had a...
he's alright. I just think he gets it wrong for more than he gets it right, and he doesn't seem to bother him at all.
No.
It's just really funny.
Well, that's kind of a good thing, isn't it?
I suppose. Well, the thing is about Pachter is he actually sometimes has some quite interesting ideas that no one fucking listens to, naturally.
Well, there might as well be Pete Molyneux in that case. Yeah. He has good ideas, but he just never delivers. That's sort of the same thing.
No, that's different. Peter Molyneux's in a position to deliver.
No, he's not really, though. He's going to program them himself most of the time.
Well, he owns the studios.
Yeah, but they can only do so much work.
It should be his job that, he shouldn't, that's his fault. He shouldn't promise things that he can't deliver because that's what he does. He's in the position to deliver something.
It's true. He's not a commentator.
Pachter anything he says doesn't have to come true because he's not directly involved. But then
isn't his job to make good predictions?
Yes, that's why I think it's done.
Well, yeah. But the thing he was theorising about was that next-gen games, naturally with a console cycle, there's often a cost jump in the cost to make games.
Yeah.
And it's and then sort of the middleware slowly catches up, I guess, in some cases to, so towards the end of a console cycle, things aren't necessarily so expensive to make.
Right.
Necessarily, depending on the project, naturally, but technically the software has evolved to a point where it's a bit easier. So, next gen comes on, there's going to be a big jump, which means probably publishers and stuff are going to be looking for another way to make additional money. And so he was theorizing that, the cost of games probably isn't going to increase. Using American terms, $60 sounds like a cap to most people. I'm not going to pay more than that. Although I think they've eked up slightly over this console cycle, but
they have. But
45 sometimes is the RRP, which sounds quite expensive, but it seems like much more expensive than the $60 price point everything comes out in America.
Well, that's exchange rates.
Yeah, the conversion doesn't sound so great for us. It doesn't sound like it's in our favour, or
no,
it's never been in our favour, really.
No, but it sounds like more of a bum deal than if you were just following exchange rates. It's a bit of a shame. But he was theorising that like one way, naturally, the DLC train is going to continue whether we like it or not. But he had an interesting idea about multiplayer games. In that, say, for instance, you buy Black Ops or something like that maybe, there's for some people, there's probably quite a lot of content that they never play, because some people buy that purely for the zombie mode, some people buy that purely for the multiplayer. Yeah. And it's like, for me, I'm missing out on the zombie mode because I think it's awful. Or not great, anyway. So they were wondering, like, perhaps the DLC model needs to change, so instead of people just buy this outright thing, and instead of buying a season pass, you get this, they sort of go on a pay-per-play subscription basis. So, like, for each week or each day in which you had a game, you have an incredibly small charge associated with you. So, like, fractions of dollars he was talking about. So, like...
They can't do that, though, because then you have a problem with charging to like people's credit cards, where they can't do that smaller charge at once.
Well, no, but it would have to be backed up by the service you're attached to. So, say Xbox Live, for instance. So it would,
so you have to put like 2,000 points in, and it drains like 1 point,
something like that. Yeah. And so, but the concept is that then if people are paying this, that they're automatically making the money that DLC would normally bring in. And actually, in fact, like for those that don't normally drop for DLC, they've probably paid a little bit as well. So theoretically earning them more money. Without actually sounding too unreasonable, if you know what I mean. Because it's like the players are still likely to get they'll probably end up with the DLC because of the way that this system works. People will just get them like a PC model. Like a Valve model, let's say. And... I don't know. I just want to know what you feel about it. It's like I'm not sure that's actually a terrible idea. If I think people. The problem is I guess that it might be almost too late, because Microsoft and Sony would have to think about how to put that into their into their systems. And it's like perhaps that would, maybe in Microsoft's case, for instance, if they still want to justify paying for a live account, for instance, perhaps some of what that live account gives you is some credit towards this scheme. And or the other way around, you don't pay a live subscription anymore, but Microsoft get a cut out of the payments made in this way, thus making the gold-silver divide not so much of a problem anymore.
Yeah, but people won't like it because it's just spending more money. It's like, this isn't actually making a saving for anyone.
No, it's not. It's not making a saving for the consumer. Is the thing, but it's
squeezing more money out.
It's one of those things that, that's the thing. They've got more costs to recover, is the thing.
Yeah, but consumers don't care about that shit.
No, but the thing is that if people adopt it, if Call of Duty, for instance, adopted them, do you really think people are going to not play Call of Duty, given it's ridiculous?
Well, some people aren't. It's like the people who only play Call of Duty, like that's the only game they ever play. They'll probably be fine paying some more. But people who buy lots of games...
Yeah, but the argument there is like, would they make more money out of those players than they would normally just buy DLC? Because, they play it all the time, as you say, so they're paying this subscription fee frequently.
I don't think they would. I think selling the whole thing lots of times is better than selling the whole thing less times and then getting a constant revenue.
I don't know. I thought it was an interesting thing. I'm not sure it will happen, but it was an interesting concept.
Sure.
It's because it kind of plays into like it's just
an MMO subscription basically, only in smaller chunks.
Yeah, I mean, it still could. And the interesting thing with that is, like, say it was 50p a day and you played it every day. That still works out at like typical MMO subscription rate, like 15 squid. Or...
Yeah, and people already don't like paying like more than 30 quid for an MMO based game to start with.
I'm not saying I'm a fan of this or because I'm slowly playing less and less console multiplayer. But it's I'm not sure I would particularly like it. That might just make me not play it because I know it's going to have a cost involved. But because that's how my brain works. But
well, that's the classic problem of MMOs is like, well, in MMOs it's sort of a reverse of the problem where you've paid 15 quid for the month, so you're like, I have to play this all the time. But I don't think paying for like 50p for a day is actually better, because it's like, I'm not going to play this enough today to make that worthwhile. It's only when you have to, that's even like, even when it's that small a chunk of time, it's still like, I'm going to have to commit this whole day to just play this to make this worth my while, to make this worth my 50p. Squeeze everything I can out of it.
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe they'd have to have some sort of literal time scale associated with it, but to be totally fair, but I doubt they would.
It's like every time you slice that time into a smaller space, it's still the same problem. It's like, I paid for an hour, must play it for every single second.
Yeah.
It's this classic problem. No one likes to spend money more than they have to, I guess.
Well, yeah, maybe gamers are the worst market for that as well. The community of min-maxers.
Yeah, exactly.
Start min-maxing their money.
Yeah, well, I think it's the idea, isn't it? I certainly would. Got a min-max.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Worth a discussion.
He's going to be wrong, though. If Pax said it won't happen. No. That's my feeling.
I stand by my original statement. It's probably too late in the dev cycle for the new systems.
Oh, speaking of which, the specs are kind of out.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Eurogamer's basically got both the specs, effectively, from trusted sources. They're basically the same. The PS4 and the 720. Yeah.
We still don't know what their names are, really, though, do you?
No. It's they have AMD processors and AMD ATI graphics, both of them.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
The Sony one has better graphics, slightly better graphics. So it seems like the more powerful of the two. I think the Xbox has slightly more RAM to counter, but I think overall similar, I guess, to this generation. The PlayStation is slightly more powerful. But it's interesting because
it depends how you measure that. On like teraflops, the PS3 is considerably more powerful than the Xbox.
But in this case, you haven't got those weird, completely different architectures. They'll be basically the same architecture.
Oh, really? So what, Sony are dropping Cell?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like I say, that was IBM, wasn't it?
It was a partnership.
And the IBM had the processor in all the consoles, didn't they? The Wii and the Xbox and the PS3. They're all IBM.
I don't know about the Xbox, but the Wii definitely.
Yeah, and but of course, totally different architecture in the PS3. But it looks like they're going off the shelf basically, and they're gonna. It's the processor is like the next generation mobile processor from AMD. For low power and stuff, and they'll be able to like really crank it compared to mobile, because they'll be able to put it on the same die and stuff, put it on the same board as the graphics chip and everything, and optimize the shit out of it. So they will be really powerful. But it's interesting how similar they're going to be, and how off the shelf, how not crazy, and how conservative they're being about, which I think is probably the best way.
Current climate, they probably haven't got the R&D budget that they used
to go crazy. So they're kind of.
And in fairness, Sony are probably slightly more reluctant, given that that I'm not sure their investment in Cell hasn't paid off. I wonder if that has actually churned profit at all, because Cell was designed to not just be a games processor, was it to be like a server farm processor?
Yeah.
And for a while it was good at that. When the PS3 could run Linux.
Yeah. Didn't the Department of Defense bought a whole bunch of PS3s?
Yeah. And they got really pissed off when they dropped Linux support, because they couldn't replace them anymore.
Yeah, well, they were kind of taking advantage of them building those machines at a loss anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's interesting. They're virtually the same, I think.
Interesting.
On the inside. So what will differentiate them is all there. Apparently there's some weird shit about the... Like, for example, supposedly the Xbox has an HDMI input as well as an output. So what could that mean?
Unless they're just thinking about, this will sit nicely in your homes.
Maybe.
Your home cinema, so we can act as a pass-through.
Or they just want to have like better cameras on the next Kinect.
Maybe.
HDMI camera.
It's got its own.
Why not?
The Kinect has its own special port apparently.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because they did that on the slim versions of the current console.
Yeah, but that seems to be the deal. It's interesting.
No news on Connect 2 then?
No news on that.
How that?
It'll definitely be separate.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
It won't be completely integrated.
That's probably wise.
Yeah.
Could you use HDMI for anything apart from visual data? Is it? It's just a cable.
So.
No, you can in theory because it's just a data stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of specially optimized for video because it's got all that like piracy. What's it? The encryption stuff.
I forget what it's called. But
yeah. It's a bit weird. So
yeah, you can in theory because some data is transferred across through HDMI, like metadata about what's attached and things in a similar way to VGA kind of did.
Yeah.
So there's certain messages can be sent across to tell your devices, for instance, to turn on and off.
Right. Yeah.
Like Sony utilised that pretty well at one point, but I think they were first to the party, and naturally they did it differently to everyone else. But if you had a whole suite of Sony stuff, you only really needed one remote because the different devices could tell each other what to do.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Neat idea. Probably going to be superseded by Bluetooth remotes when they finally start happening, but
there's rumours that they're going to replace the DualShock, which they probably won't do. I don't know.
What would they replace it with? If they were to make a more comfortable, in honesty, as long as it's a classic controller design and it's comfortable, I'm not sure I care. It's like because the PlayStation controller is a classic, but it's just not as comfortable as the Xbox one.
It's like, what do they even mean replacing a DualShock? It's like
I think that
DualShock means the two sticks and the rumble, doesn't it?
Kind
They're
of.
not going to get rid of that. That's what you need.
DualShock is the name given to that design.
They've kind of looked the same, since the PS1 DualShocks came out. They're basically identical. Obviously, you've got 6-axis and everything now, but so that's the situation. Of course, there's stupid rumours that they'll rip off the Wii U basically and have a Wii U style controller with a massive fuck off screen.
No, I think Sony will position Vita to do that.
Yeah, well,
Vita still survives that long.
If they're going to do it, that's what they'll use it for, and it'll be an option.
That makes sense. So
I saw Ryan Davis put a good tweet up the other day saying, "Hey guys, does anyone remember the PlayStation Move?"
Oh yeah. It's mysterious because that tech worked.
It's probably the best motion tech out there. In terms of accuracy and its practical use for gaming was probably quite high.
Yeah, fidelity, it was good.
It's just Sony, typical fashion, don't know what the fuck to do with their tech. Couldn't get the devs on board because everyone was working on Wii. I guess.
Sony as a company are so screwed that they're selling their New York skyscraper for like $1 billion or something.
But it's bad news.
What do they really use that for?
I don't know, it's their head office in America.
Yeah, exactly. They don't give a shit about America.
Yeah, they do. It's their main market, isn't it?
I don't think Sony really gives a shit about anywhere, to be honest.
We only care about the lunar market.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
sure if officers on the moon were cheap, they'd go there.
So what divisions of Sony are the troublemakers then?
TV performs really badly, like compared to Samsung now. It's interesting because
they've always had a bit of a problem because they've always been more expensive, and now in this current climate, that's not really a go-to.
And they've had the problem of the strong yen, which Samsung doesn't have because they're Korean. Same as Nintendo have had that problem as well, but they're kind of bounced back from that, I think. But yeah, they've been having problems. I think the entertainment division probably has been fine, although they've had problems obviously because they started getting fines and stuff for the data breach.
Yeah, shitty fines though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, that won't affect their bottom line, but it doesn't help their image.
I suppose PS3 must be turning a profit these days.
Yeah, I think so.
The two redesigns, and
I heard they'd finally caught up with Xbox in terms of shipped numbers of consoles, which is amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
Okay, that is impressive.
It didn't seem believable, but apparently they have caught up. And I just saw the other day that they're launching some Swish new Android tablets that actually look really nice, like high-end looking things.
I wonder if that's where they've lost quite a bit of cash in fairness, because Sony's tablet in the Xperia range hasn't been flying, I guess.
They've got new Xperias that look quite flash, so
I never really had a problem with them, but their tablets seemed a bit mismarketed because they were trying to use Android and just segregated themselves slightly from the normal Android marketplace, and tried to, in the same way that sort of Amazon does, but Amazon does it a little less badly. Sony have never been good with software stores. Well, speaking of which, the PS3 store's different. I don't know when the fuck it happened because I never go there, but it's I just randomly turned on my PlayStation the other day just to see what was going on, and the store's all been redesigned and stuff. It's kind of nice.
I actually have some kind of, probably not insider information, but my company's been talking to Sony, and I think they're for a fraud solution or whatever, but apparently they're launching a new thing, but part of it is digital distribution of PC games, and I'm like, you're going to try and compete with Steam? Yeah, good luck with that.
It's just look at Origin.
Yeah,
that's going so well for them.
Yeah, so that's kind of
games would Sony even have?
Well,
they just act too.
Just act as a publisher, I guess, or just like kind of Steam style. But
don't do it, Sony. You're bad at it. You've always been bad at it.
So
I guess their movie division must be doing pretty good, and Sony BMG, is it? The music division can't really be losing money.
Well, you never know, do you?
The profits are probably down, but that wouldn't surprise me. But I doubt they're still loss turning.
I guess you'd have to look into exactly what's going on with Sony, but it's not that great, I don't think, at the moment for them. Although Kasurai is in charge now, so maybe he'll turn it around. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, he's been there for a while now.
Yeah, but. Well, how long has he been?
Over a year.
Oh, right, okay. Well, we'll see. I guess the Vita's kind of a disaster. But
it's a shame in a way, because the Vita is actually quite a nice bit of kit.
Of course. It's the old story, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Same with the PSP. But at least the PSP sold well.
Yeah, that was alright, PSP.
It's just, there's nothing I really want the Vita for.
It's like the 3DS.
Yeah.
Apparently that's doing okay, though, which surprised me.
I mean, there's a couple of things on 3DS that you might want to play.
Yeah, I kind of
Sonic Generations on the 3DS is supposed to be amazing. And,
Mario 3D Land.
Yeah, Super Mario 3D Land. It seems okay.
Pretty cool. Shame about Paper Mario. Sticker Star. That could have been every Paper Mario game is an opportunity to be as good as 1,000 Year Door, but they just always fuck it up.
Yep.
Well, the last two anyway.
Yeah.
Did you hear?
And by fucking up, they waste all their time where they should be working on Advance Wars. God damn it!
Is that them?
Yeah, it's Intelligent Systems.
Oh, god damn.
Nintendo news.
Yeah.
Nintendo have announced that they're working on some games for Wii U.
You'd hope so.
I did see that there has been a whole conference.
There's
this week.
New Zelda on the way.
Oh yeah, that thing.
What was the big thing?
There's Windwaker.
They're doing
not
an
Windwaker
HD remake of Windwaker on top of doing a new Zelda. But
not that a new Zelda is news.
They had already done that.
Well, no, in general.
No, in fairness, none of this is really news because guess the ones that they actually said were there's going to be a new 3D Mario platformer and there's going to be a new Mario Kart, and we're still waiting on Pikmin 3.
The thing about the Zelda thing was the guy who was explaining it, who was in charge of Zelda, he said their theme for the new Zelda was challenging Zelda conventions. And they basically, the two he highlighted were single player, so there's obviously going to be some multiplayer, which doesn't sound that great. And the other one was
actually be okay.
The other one was linearity, so doing dungeons in a set order. So it's not going to have that. So it's going to be more.
Yeah, that might actually be bad.
Well, who knows?
It depends. Yeah, it could open the door for some Cheez-It solutions, but it's
that's why Zelda dungeons are in order because it's
they're perfectly
you add another tool and then not that in Zelda very often does it use the old tools. It's not like the dungeon not like the last dungeon. You use literally everything you've had through the entire game. You use the thing you get in that dungeon and maybe the previous two.
Yeah, maybe that's a good opportunity to mix it up. And have different dungeons that play differently depending on what tools you have available. But
then that just makes it really complicated to make.
Probably.
I don't think they will.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think they might try and slide in some Metroid into it? If in a way, the non. Because it's
coming back to areas.
Perhaps do some bit more retreading, but based on what abilities you have, then you can sort of tackle stuff in the order that you.
Maybe it works in Metroid, doesn't it? So. Who knows?
No, it doesn't really. In Metroid, it's It's a perfectly straight line in Metroid. It's just that you backtrack to get extra weapons, get extra missiles.
Not necessarily. There's some extra
And
stuff.
if you do ever backtrack most of the time, it's because it sends you there again in the fucking story. It's like, oh no, I have to go back here again.
Not always. Not always. There is some stuff you can do on the side. Like tackle in different orders. Like, there are some places you never need to go back to other than to try and get a power core or...
Yeah, but then you don't have to care about that.
Oh, but you need the energy.
You don't necessarily. If you're awesome enough to never get hit.
Oh, fuck that. You can't not get hit in that game.
No.
What did you think of the look of that HD's Wind Waker? Because I thought it looked a bit
quite
strange.
gloomy now, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks a bit... I mean...
I like it.
I like the idea of it, but I don't know. It looks a bit weird.
I think it looked really good.
What they should do, which would make them a whole shit ton more money, is finish the bloody game, put the stuff back in that they will cut out the first time round and make it how long it was meant to be.
Right, yeah.
And then sell it for full game price. Not that they won't sell this for full game price, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Sell it for more. They can add the extra temples that were meant to be in there that got cut, which made it feel really weird. Because the game just sort of isn't as long as it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still Wind Waker, I don't care. It's like, it may look nice, and I always did kind of appreciate the look of that game. I just don't ever want to play it.
A lot of people like Wind Waker. There seems to be some weird opinions going on, like different Zeldas get, like, people feel differently about them at different times, like, in general. Like Wind Waker, everyone kind of wasn't sure about at the time, and then Twilight Princess came out, and everyone's like, hey, Wind Waker was awesome, and, like, it's all mysterious.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? Maybe that's, like, the best Zelda, or, the Zelda of the moment is the last one they did. So, surely that means that Twilight Princess should be in the good books now, because Skyward Sword, I don't think has that really made an impact.
Well,
but that is the case.
That is the case.
Everyone still likes Twilight Princess, and no one likes Skyward
Sword. It's true.
I liked it. Oh, okay. But, it's just that Wind Waker seems to be getting a lot of attention. Not just, like, in the HD remake, but it seems to... You hear about Wind Waker much more frequently than you ever hear about Twilight Princess.
That's because it was different.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Whereas Ocarina, no one ever says anything bad against.
No.
or Link to the Past, or the original. Yeah.
Majora's Mask, kind of... Did they do a remake of that?
No. They might do it for 3DS. I think they should, because it is a good game. It was a bit, I don't know, it ran a bit funny in places.
Some people regard it as better than Ocarina. So
yeah, but I can see where they're kind of coming from.
I don't agree.
I wouldn't agree.
Yeah. I think Majora's Mask would be irritating to me with all the time stuff, but...
It's just like, it kind of feels like KOTOR and KOTOR 2, actually, that kind of feeling. It's like the weird kind of sequel that is kind of better in all these kind of writing kind of weird ways and stuff and experimental stuff, but it's just not that epic story of the first one that everyone remembers.
Yeah.
Like, because it had Clocktown, and Clocktown was cool, and a cool experiment. Where everyone had movements throughout the 3 days or whatever and stuff.
It sounds cool in theory, but I think as a gameplay mechanic, it would just get kind of irritating.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a strange game. I think they will redo it because it was also darker and weirder. Like the kind of masked man was quite creepy and weird.
You only saw him right at the start, really.
Yeah, the whole mask stuff was all a bit...
Well, the mask stuff was what was creepy and weird.
Yeah, creepy
wasn't
and weird.
The dude.
Yeah, the skull kid dude and the
changing forms.
The moon destroying the planet and stuff.
Oh, dingo.
And dingo. Dawn of the first day.
So yeah, are we done with news? We've covered most of this podcast in news.
Yeah, well, it's probably good.
News!
Yeah, we're done with news. What have you been playing?
Gameplay! Game! I don't know. How would say that? How was I saying that?
What? Game! Le jeu formidable.
Well, we all sort of said we weren't playing too much before we began this, but I suppose I could say a few things. I finished Hell Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You said that last time, didn't you?
No, I only finished it last week when you were here.
Oh, right, when I was here.
Yeah. I finished Hell Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's about 6 hours long in the end, and it's like that's probably the perfect length, to be honest. It goes a bit... I think it gets a bit less good towards the end because you end up sort of just teleporting about between levels, and it's like the game sort of does a pretty good job of like directing where you need to go. So you'll reach the end of a bit, and it's like, well, we'll go back to this other door that we couldn't do before, and it's like, well, it's kind of odd, There's like backtracking for no real reason. It's like you had to traverse the whole level just to get to this one door again that you couldn't get through before. It just seems a bit. Oh, do you remember that artwork we did before? Let's show you it again. It's yeah. It was. As I say, it's all right. Last boss wasn't actually as difficult as some of the earlier ones. I've only got 4 achievements left in it, but it's like one of them I'm not sure I really want, because it's like die 100 times, like die and retry 100 times. It's like, well, I don't need to.
No,
I didn't need to do that. Fuck you.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was alright.
Cool.
Pretty cool game.
Those kind of achievements always suck.
Yeah.
The classic one was like Battlefield 2142, or even 2. When they had the purple heart, it's like,
oh yeah,
have a kill the death ratio of 0.5 in a round. It's like, fuck that. That's never going to happen. Ha!
Shut your face. That happened all the fucking time to me, because I have the worst luck in those games.
I never had that purple heart in either of those games.
I think I had lots of them.
I'm not sure if you did. I think you would have complained about it more, and I don't remember you ever complaining about it.
Shut your face. Sarcasm will get you nowhere. Today. In fairness, we haven't tried Battlefield 3 yet since I've got fibre, so maybe my experiences will be a little bit better now.
Right. Well,
maybe.
Apart from you'll still be playing against really hard people.
Well, yeah, I sort of had a bit of yeah, there is that. Like, so I've heard like a lot of people saying that Battlefield 3 is kind of losing its thing now because the people playing it are all super, super hardcore. Like, there's not. They were last time we played. Yeah, like the noob ratio has dropped to a point where it's almost.
But it's fine.
Inaccessible.
It's providing the teams are balanced.
Maybe. Dan just quietly appreciating the noob ratio.
I was thinking of it as one word, like noob ratio. I don't know why.
This is some kind of new sexual act.
No.
Fellatio.
Oh, I see. Noob ratio.
Noob ratio.
Anyway.
Yeah, so as part of getting my fibre, I've been playing quite a lot more Black Ops online.
God Ops.
I have to find that it makes some difference. I have less problems, but every now and then you still have some shit. Like,
well, that's
because it's not you.
Yeah, because it's hosted on someone's machine.
Exactly. And plus, I think that my Wi-Fi, my Xbox is connected to my router over Wi-Fi, and I think there's a lot of interference around here. Well, it's like when I run speed checks on my Wi-Fi devices, it's like at least half what my actual line speed is.
Is that why your keyboard is shit as well?
Maybe.
Wire that shit up. There must be a way of doing it. I know you just don't want to run a cable.
I really don't run I have got.
You've got loads of cables already. All you need is one Ethernet
Actually,
cable.
I think Kippers has my ridiculously long Ethernet cable. But,
yeah. And a switch, right? They're quite cheap.
No, there's a switch behind there.
Oh, you already got a switch?
Yeah.
Oh, right, well, you sorted
it. Yeah.
Why have you got what does the switch plug into?
Because I've only got one Wi-Fi device back there, so the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Skybox are all wired to the switch, which is wired to the Wi-Fi device.
I think you should definitely run a cable. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's the point where I need to get hold of a super long Ethernet cable again, which Kippers uses.
Yeah.
Wait until the next console comes out, and then you'll have an excuse.
Why?
Because then you'll be taking that shit out of there and rewiring all kinds of shit.
You can get one for $5 on eBay anyway.
Yeah.
It's not the cost, it's the inconvenience
of reaching behind the TV.
Yeah. Actually, in fairness, that is a bit of a fuck. Like, just going anything with me and cables behind any kind of desk is a nightmare.
Wow. Yeah, especially that desk.
Yeah.
So
5.1 speakers cause a broad. That's a lot neater than it fucking was.
That's true.
Because I untangled it all when the
you took your
installed.
steering wheel out.
I haven't put that back. There's a nice gap in my desk now where that can live, and so I'll put it back. Gnome had a bit of a dig at me for that. It's like, you still haven't put that shit back in the corner. It's like, no, I haven't.
That is true.
This I cannot deny. The amount of fuck given, however, quite low. Played quite a bit of Sonic 4 Episode 2. I played through every stage now, so I've done the bog standard completion, but got nearly all the red rings on that, and just got one left to find, but on the most confusing fucking level in the game. possibly the shittest level in the game, actually. Oh, no, wait, no, there is one more. It's a frustrating experience, because it does a lot of things right. The feel is better than the first episode. The physics engine is nicer. It's still a bit slow for a Sonic game, and still a bit too zoomed in. So those initial... I
noticed that. It's definitely a bit zoomed in.
Those initial concerns still stand from the first episode. And they do arbitrarily just kludge in the sort of new tag combo things where sometimes it's essential, for instance, that you get Tails out and fly somewhere, and the game will give you there'll be a little floating monitor to say you should really fly now. And sometimes it's just completely unnecessary. It just breaks the flow of the level totally. Like, you'll be running along super fast, and all of a sudden you hit a brick wall, and it's like, fly over this. And it's like, and some, there are some levels where this wall is literally just there, and you fly over it, and you're landing on a platform that's the same level as if the wall wasn't there. It's just completely useless and just breaks the flow of the level totally. And that's not what Sonic's about.
Well, flying was always going to do that, regardless of how they put it in.
Well, there was always kind of... The best implementations were the early ones where flying wasn't essential. You could use it to get about the level should you want to, find extra collectibles, or, for the Red Ring hunt, I kind of don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But for the just the main level flow, it kind of doesn't work. The rolling combo is not so bad, apart from one place where it's really fucking confusing and you're not really sure what to do. And then you just use it. I sort of used it accidentally, and it's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do to get through this bit. I get it now. That's like, in fairness, there are about 3 monitors that sort of like indicate that you are supposed to use it, but at that point in time, you're just running really quickly anyway, so you don't really pay attention. And it's like, oh, actually, I was supposed to stop running, go into a rolling combo here. And then it's like, well, that's not what you think, not what a Sonic player thinks to do. I don't know. Just like some dumb decisions there. The boss fights are pretty awful. It's got to be said. So one of them, I think, has like a 40-second intro before you actually get to do anything. And it's like, and if you fail the boss fight, you've got to sit and watch this 40-second intro sequence again. It's like, fuck you. That's just terrible. And it took a little while for me to work out how to do a couple of them, because they're not... a lot of the Sonic bosses usually have an obvious weak point or something, or an obvious, oh, this is when you're supposed to hit them, but they're not so clear this time. There's one in particular where it's in the sky level. It's a flying boss, so you're doing the sort of same movement that you do in Sonic 2, and Tails is flying the tornado, and Metal Sonic's flying this like airship. This mini sort of airship thing with like laser barrages and things. And then he starts firing cannonballs at you, and you're sort of dodging out of the way of them. And I'm like, well, this is going on for a really long time. What am I supposed to do? And then you finally realize it's like, oh, I can actually, if I just jump into the cannonball, it goes back and hits him. Despite looking super dangerous.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, well, fuck you.
Yeah, that's not obvious.
Yeah, didn't like that. That boss that I played a second ago, Zach, that sort of clusterfuck of Robotnik just getting in the way and Metal Sonic firing ginormous blue balls of death at you, and you have to try and rolling combo your way through them to hit him, but sometimes it hits them, sometimes it hurts you, and it's just a mess of a boss.
Well, it hurts you because he's glowing purple.
Sometimes
hit him when he's glowing purple.
Sometimes you can hit him when he's purple, and annoyingly, that's the moment Robotnik often moves out of the way, is when he goes purple, and it's like, this is just bad. I've tried playing that one a few times, and it's just, I've not found a good strategy for it. It's just awful. The music in places is actually kind of good. Despite the original one being quite disappointing in places, it's like, I'm not so fussed with this one. I'm not so worried.
They still have a bad sample set though.
Yeah, it still tries to do that Mega Drive thing a bit too hard.
But it's not Mega Drive, that's the problem. If it was Mega Drive, that'd be cool. They don't actually make a chiptune-esque or Mega Drive.
Well, they sort of do, but they sort of limit themselves too much in a way. It's like they're trying to ape the Mega Drive in some aspects, but like, the Sky level music, for instance, tries to sound a bit guitar-y, but in a Mega Drive style, that ends up just going...
Yeah, but it's not...
But then they limit themselves to those sort of... that one synth sound a lot of the time, and that one harsh FM modulated sound, and then that one square wavy type sound. You know what I mean? It's like the Mega Drive could do more than that.
Well, I don't think they're square wave or modulated enough or whatever. They sound like orchestra clips that have been spliced up a bit. They don't sound like chip, basically. They sound too real.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that, but they do a better job this time, and it's less annoying than. Actually, no. Saying that, one of the second water level really. Well, is it the second? Maybe the third. But the water level in the White Park zone, where it's all frosty and there are these weird giant walrus things that can create giant ice cubes by, I don't know, sound or something, like using ultrasound to make ice or something. I don't know, whatever. It's fucking stupid. And the music there is really irritating. It's like, I think that's the worst water level ever made in a Sonic game. It's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Really annoying. Those ice cubes that those things make are so big that sometimes they can block the route entirely, so you've got no choice but to sit there and wait to die.
Oh, sucks.
It's not good. It's yeah. So yeah, a bit of a shame. Plus, for all the time I've played it, I've only got 25 achievement points, which is a bit of a shit. The remaining 175 are some really hard stuff. Like the special stages are hard. The first 3 are easy, but then after that, it gets kind of difficult. And, it has the problem where you can't retry a special stage until you run the level again, making sure you end with 50 rings and go into it again. It's just like, can't I just earn the right to get to this special stage and just try it? And it's like, in this day and age, it's just a bit annoying. I haven't played any of the episode metal stuff yet, which I got for obviously having both versions of the game. One of the achievements, for instance, is play as Tails 50 times. And it's like, but I can't pick a character individually. Oh shit, you mean the multiplayer? I've actually got to play the multiplayer as Tails 50 times? Fuck you!
No way, yeah.
Unless you can pick a character after you properly complete it.
Yeah, maybe. If not, it sucks. The leaderboards are still fucked. They say, I don't know why have they not fixed them? All Sonic games they just get hacked to shit.
All games ever.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say all games ever, but it's the same guy is the annoying thing. Like number one Sonic fan or something. His name is.
You don't necessarily know that's the same guy. That might just be someone being funny.
Yeah, someone else just making sure he's on this name's on top of the table. But
yeah.
I suppose if it's hacked, you could put anything you fucking want, but...
Presumably. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe not in the Xbox one. I guess that is pulling, gamer tag or something.
I guess if you clicked it, they'd have to be a gamer tag attached to it for it to go retrieve.
Yeah.
Because that's how those things work. But either way, it's fucking annoying. Sort it out. And the leaderboards take ages to load, and if you're going to submit a score, it takes ages. Which was the problem in the first one as well. It's just bad design there, really. They need to... It's like, once it starts syncing, you can't get out of it. It's the annoying thing. So if you go and view a level that you don't... that's not interested in, and you want to scroll to the others, and you've got a time it hasn't uploaded yet, it's like, it uploads the time. Oh shit, I've got to wait for this. Scroll to the next level, upload the time. Oh shit, I've got to wait for this. Really crap.
Yeah, that's rubbish.
It should upload it when you finish the fucking level, like everything else does.
I don't think you'd want to have that either, though.
No, maybe, but why can it take that? Why does it take that long? It's like, what are you really sending it? You're sending it a throwaway packet to say, hey, this guy scored this time. Thanks. Super quick. That should be instant. So, goddammit. I reckon it sort of uploads replays because I think you can play against top ghosts and things, but it should only do that if it knows you're the best or something. I don't know. Sucks. But all in all, better than the first, I'd say. I sort of wish that they didn't go quite so heavily down the Sonic 2 homage route.
Yeah?
Because, 2 of the zones in this are just direct rip-offs of Sonic 2.
Too far. Especially when you can just play Sonic 2.
Yeah, which is the better game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's a bit annoying. Because, there's the sand ocean, which is basically oil ocean, in every way. It's the same fucking level. It's in a desert, and there's oil. There you go. And the other one is the Sky Fortress, which is exactly the same as those levels from Sonic 2, like where you're flying around in the air and have the tornado for a bit. And, even the look of them is the same, with the yellow paintwork and the giant propellers, and it's identical. Bah. That's what Sonic Generations was for.
Bah, humbug.
And then they didn't do those levels. They did worse levels.
I still think they could get away with doing a Generations 2. There's plenty of content they could put on. Yeah.
As we said.
Yeah, they won't do DLC. Even though they
more.
No. Well, that pinball table doesn't really count.
Clearly.
Doesn't count. Yeah, so that's... trying to think what else I've really done. I think that might be it, yeah.
Coolio. Zachary Burgess, I guess. Or do you want me to... What should I say? I haven't really played much more Far Cry since you saw me playing the...
cannabis section.
The cannabis section.
The famous Skrillex bit.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Especially right at the end when that massive village, and I was taking it one down into the water, and then I dropped my gun or something. Of course,
then we went back to get it, and it's not fucking there.
No, it disappeared, and I didn't even need to anyway, because you get them kind of back anyway. You can buy them back or anyway. But that was quite hilarious. Yes. Anyway, but yeah, we talked about that already.
It looked quite hard.
Well, that bit was probably the hardest bit I played that far by a reasonable margin. Well, the thing is that they do kill you quite quickly, but they're also not that they're not that clever or anything. So if you like approach a base or something, which is most of it, you can usually manage the situation. Whereas in that case, it was more of a mission, and it was like I hadn't done
Everyone goes aware all the time.
Yeah, I hadn't really done any missions up to that point, which was like all out shooting, and everyone's aware all the time.
And it looked a bit like an enemy locker somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere there, which is unusual in that game because when you do the outposts, then there's just a set number of enemies and there's no spawning or anything. So that's more the norm to have that situation. Yeah. More like your Deus Exes or whatever, where there's people patrolling. So yeah, so I played a bit more KOTOR 2, I guess. That's what I've been playing. That I have to say that like the writing in that is good, definitely, and that's the draw. But I mean, I know it's a really old game. And the engine isn't, obviously not up to like Mass Effect 1 standards or anything like that.
That wouldn't be close.
But I swear that KOTOR 1 just had much nicer environments and was prettier just in general.
Sort of an art direction.
Yeah, the art direction in KOTOR 2 so far, and I've played for like 10 hours, is terrible. It's just grey corridors. And I was trying to look up screenshots of KOTOR 1, and it's like the first planet you're on is Taris, which has this like beautiful skyscape, and it has like different levels, and it has the horrible underground. And then you go to like Tatooine, which is all bright and deserty, and there's this kind of sea planet, and even the sea looks kind of cool. And then Dagobah is all green and lush and like farmlands and stuff. And this is just grey boxes. And it's like, what the fuck?
Isn't the first area like this really big brown area as well? Just brown. In KOTOR 2, like the starting area that is.
Well, kind of. It's like a mining colony that's been abandoned. It's like grey corridors and like brown mining tunnels.
Because that's pretty much all I remember ever seeing of KOTOR was that there was this, like, you showed me a bit of combat there. It was in like a typically Star Warsy sort of shiny grey. Yeah. Like, the archetype for the Star Wars corridor sort of thing. Sure. You had some fights there. And then next thing I saw of it was just this really bland, fairly empty looking brown, smudgy environment where you were just wandering around finding stuff to kill.
That might have been Dagobah. I don't know, green, browny sort of planety thing. I don't know.
I don't know if it was the first or second one, but it just looks terrible. That
probably would have been the first one. But yeah, so there's a bit. So it's like, okay, they must have concentrated on the writing stuff, which is fair enough. But I'm hoping it improves. So I'm going down to the planet surface or something, and I'm hoping it's a bit more leafy and that there's ugly. To be frank, it's not the prettiest game. So yeah, but not much going on in.
Maybe that's why people don't have such fond memories of it. It's like, Obsidian obviously are getting the writing side right, but...
Yeah, well, the key thing is that, like, especially compared to Mass Effect, for example, Mass Effect 2 and 3 or whatever, that you really have to think before you, like, the options aren't, you cannot just constantly do the upright hand corner for the good answer.
They mix it up a bit,
It's constantly, like, not only is it mixed up, but, like, you know, you have to think, because if you go for the really goody two-shoes answer when you're talking to Kreia, she'll just say you're just an idiot and, you know, just a wildly optimistic or like, you know, she won't be impressed by you being like, oh, we've got to save the galaxy. She's like, what are you talking about, you douche? So it's quite nice from that. That's one of the best things about it. Like
it plays to the characters more.
Yeah. The dialogue is good, but also the choices that you kind of make are much more shades of grey than in KOTOR 1 or Mass Effect or any BioWare game, really. It's much more sort of... that's an interesting choice.
Again, Obsidian are good at that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of their strength.
Well, that's because that was exactly the good bit of Alpha Protocol.
Yeah.
Was that, you know, you had to know the character, and if you knew some of their backstory and stuff through stealth and stuff, you perhaps had a slightly better idea, better idea of how to play out a scenario.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the conversation mattered, because if you played their character wrong, it would change things quite dramatically.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, Obsidian are good at that.
Because KOTOR 2 is supposed to have... I haven't encountered this yet.
I wonder how they're going to put that in South Park, to be honest. It's like,
what can they do?
I have all faith that game is going to be awesome, but...
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
It's like, how Obsidian's writers combined with presumably Parker and Stone.
A bit of them, yeah.
It's like, what's going to come out of it?
It's funny.
Or is it really going to be like, are Obsidian just taking some time out from doing their thing almost and just say, well, it doesn't really matter in this case?
Maybe. It could well be.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be that in KOTOR 1, like, you could become dark side or light side, but it didn't affect any of the characters in your party. Like, if there was a good character in your party, they'd always stay good or evil. Like, HK-47 is always evil, even if you're playing super good.
He's a robot, he doesn't count.
Yeah. But apparently the way you play the game in KOTOR 2 is supposed to affect, like, your party, and they're supposed to, you know, become more, you know, corrupted or whatever if you go the dark side route or whatever.
That's kind of cool.
Depending on their convictions. So that's kind of a nice touch, but I haven't really seen much of that yet.
Could you, like, could it play out that some of them don't turn but just dislike you more?
Yeah, quite easily, I'm sure, yeah. So, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing. I need to, I guess I need to step on The Walking Dead once I've got some Far Cry out of the way. That would be the next thing.
Yeah. It's going to be a real interesting conversation, I think, when we finish all 5 episodes, because I still haven't played 3 on that. That's going to be a real interesting conversation, particularly with regards to how people viewed it for Game of the Year stuff.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Cool. Zeg?
I haven't really played anything this week, which is really annoying, because I kind of keep wanting to play stuff and then don't know what I want to play and then just don't play anything.
Oh, you have one of those annoying, like, boredom confusion moments.
Yeah.
I hate those. It's like they make no sense, is the annoying thing with those. It's just like...
I'm so bored, I want to do something.
And you just end up looking at the wall going, well, fuck.
So in the end, actually, what I did play this week was Team Fortress 2, because that's like a full match.
I did see you play that.
Awesome. It's been a while since you've done that solo, really.
Yeah, exactly. Or any of us have played that at all.
Oh, true. Yeah.
What's going on in Tier 2 land?
Nothing, really. Actually, really, nothing has changed since I last went there, even. No new items. Actually, they're
taking them out.
Yeah, they announced that they're removing items, not really removing.
Or just making them unavailable.
Yeah, they're making them not drop or be craftable any longer.
Which ones?
Some hats.
Some hats? Okay.
Not any of the actual
What's
guns.
The reasoning behind it?
Are they cool hats? Or?
Well, some of the old hats, like the Soldier's Stash and the Medic's vintage hat.
The Soldier's Stash.
And the Pyro Beanie.
Okay, the beanie's not so much of a problem, but...
It was the Soldier's Stash
why
and
are
the
they
Demoman
doing
Throw.
Exactly.
Which one was the Soldier's Stash? Is that the one with the cigarettes?
Yeah, the one that looks like the normal Soldier's Stash.
I like the Soldier's Stash.
I had 2 of those at one point, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to get rid of this because no one wants it because it's boring.
I'll have it.
I don't think I've got it any longer.
I'll give you some crates.
Can't remember. I need crates.
That's all I've got.
That's totally not all you've got.
Well, I could give you some like other duplicates, I suppose, if you want to craft them out. But
I still haven't got a bloody Liberty launcher. I need to get one.
You don't play it. Probably if you logged in and just played it for like an hour, you'd get so many items because you'd be on like the
I guess all we need to do
fast drops.
all you need to do is play it for once every 2 weeks or something for like an hour, and then you'll be getting the drops super quick.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, or I went in there and no new items, and they were taking out some items. But all that,
it's a weird decision.
I don't know what the idea of it is, apart from, as someone commented, it's like, I bet their economist is going to be super interested to see what happens to the prices of these hats on the trade. That's like the only reason anyone can see for this happening, is that their economist wants to see what the interesting things that happen to the market on trading hats. If you remove the supply.
Maybe they're worried about marketplace bloat, because in fairness, their interface isn't that well designed.
Yeah, but how much bloat is there anyway? They put so much stuff in.
Yeah. As I say, maybe this is the first move to like, well, something's got to give now.
Maybe they're now going to take out all the hats.
They'll have limited edition. Won't they? They'll start having limited edition hats, won't they? Or have they already done that?
Oh, they do that.
Limited edition.
You can only buy it for a short time or whatever.
Well, it's been like ownable only ones, hasn't there, as well, through like the Steam things or...
Well, there's the ones that come from other games, and there was the donation hats from the Japanese thing. Those are one-off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the gold wrenches, I guess.
Well, those are sort of a different thing.
Yeah.
And the Saxies. So yeah, Team Fortress. No goddamn servers to play on.
Really? What's going on?
or at least none of the servers that we usually play on. Actually, that's not strictly
What's going on with Heavies?
They're empty. They died ages ago.
Oh, Heavies
they had those server problems for ages, and then everyone just stopped playing on them.
Yeah, great.
And then they were like, "We fixed it," and then it was like, "No, you clearly haven't." Now we fixed it, and then no one cared.
Yeah, they basically it's annoying that because I still like the Heavies as a community, but no one's ever there.
No, so now it's all just UKCS for me. Those servers still survive. Apart from the UKCS ones are annoying now because they've made it so that the last player slot on the server is subscriber only, but it doesn't stop you from trying to join. It just kicks you out as soon as you join. So you can't put auto retry on because it's like 23 out of 24. Join. No, you can't have that slot.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's a bastard. So you have to sit there and wait until it the level's changed, and then 5 people leave, and that gives you enough space to get in before it goes back to that one slot.
Some people do. Well, yeah, I was about to say, don't they, for that problem, don't they normally do subscriber kick or something? Mods have done that before, where it's like you've been kicked for a member slot. That's how they do it, and they've done it in other games like that before. Like Battlefield definitely did it like that, where it's like. It kicks you out but I don't know, is that much better? I mean, it's better from the joining perspective, but it's much worse from the people playing the game perspective. Because no one likes to be kicked after they've got in the game and have been playing it for a while, and then suddenly it's like, oh, kicked you out. Yeah, I guess, but it's like, what other solution? Unless you always set aside 2 slots, so you have your normal 24-player quota, and it could bump to a 26.
Well, it's just because of the auto join. It's just because the server list. There's no way for that system to be integrated into the current way the actual server lists work.
No. Yeah, because they didn't plan for reserved slots from the start.
No. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But at least there's still people in those servers.
I think there's a mechanism for them to be like, you are about to be kicked. Please pay £5 to be a member, and we won't kick you. We'll kick someone else.
That'd be pretty good. Donate a hat,
and then you can stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, have my hat. I just want to keep playing.
So I played some of that, and then the previous week I'd been playing some more of the Minecraft thing, where after my initial fucking around with that mod pack, as I said, it's like Equivalent Exchange is basically the pinnacle of everything, and it just overrides everything else because everything in Equivalent Exchange is so ridiculously powerful. So I basically just started over on a fresh map and was like, okay, I'm only going to concentrate on the stuff from this one of the mods, like this specific mod within the pack. Ignore the fact, it's like the pack is just a convenient way of getting that mod in a way that it works properly. Yeah. So I don't have to fuck around downloading all the individual parts of this mod separately and installing them into a regular Minecraft install. So yeah, I made a new map and was like, okay, I'm just going to play the magic mod to see what that's like. And that was actually a pretty cool one because it actually did some more some stuff that sort of feels more advanced than a lot of the other mod stuff that has been. Because it's like, if you think, if you're talking, like the industrial one, it's like, oh look, you can have a furnace that gives you more outputs, and it's faster, and it runs on electricity, and it's like, yeah, but it's just a furnace. It's just furnacey things, like melt metal. It's not that interesting. But then, like, the magic one actually implements a lot of new stuff, where it's like, the magic is actually like an invisible aura in the world, and then, like, it has good magic and bad magic, and you, like, suck the good magic up to create stuff, but then if there's too much bad magic, it can corrupt the area and things. So you're kind of...
Corrupt the area and things.
Yeah, so you're kind of having this invisible force that you're exploiting on, or trying to not exploit, alternatively. And then, but the trouble with it is that in the end, it's like the items you get and the things that happen just sort of... They sort of peter out and reach a pinnacle in the same way. It's like the last... Towards the end, you have this idea of research in this mod, which is actually also kind of nice, because it's something that Minecraft completely lacks in that it's like in-game tutorial, basically. You research the item, and then it tells you what it does, and it shows you how to craft it. It's like, I wish normal Minecraft did that. That would make it so much easier. I would have to look at wikis all the time. So yeah, you research the things, but then it's the same problem where, like, when you get to the top tier of items, they're just really powerful, and then they override everything else. It's like, oh, I've got a pickaxe that automatically smelts minerals while I'm mining them, so I don't need this furnace any longer. Get rid of that. Or I've got a sword that lets me fall from any height, so I don't need to worry about fall damage.
I see.
It's the same way the Equivalent Exchange top tier stuff got ridiculous. And then also it generates in the world, it has these like monoliths, and you have to access them by like putting crystals into certain locations. So you need to research the goal so you can see what crystals you're meant to put in, and then you put the crystals in, it opens up, and then you go down in there, and it's like, now there's these weird doors, and you have to research the special symbol you have to insert in the doors to open them. And then I did that, and it was just like, you get some stuff. And it's like, you get some stuff that's not even very relevant. Stuff that I could have made anyway at this point, because I'd already researched it.
Shit, that's kind of weird.
So it was like, that was kind of dumb and pointless. Never mind, I guess. That's the problem with all this kind of... I guess that's sort of really it's really an overarching problem with Minecraft and all of the mods for Minecraft is like, the end game is just like, you're done. You've reached the top of the tree, and then you're still in the Minecraft world. It's like, oh, I can build things, I guess.
So it's like, well done, you did that.
That's why it's fun for that one time, where it's like, I'm discovering things, and it's new and interesting. But then once you've done it, it's like, well,
and then you get that ridiculous anticlimactic feel. It's like, okay, cool, I did that.
Yeah, I was sort of expecting that there would be like a boss battle or something, because it did seem to be going that way, where it's like eldritch monoliths and evil and. Maybe I'll open this door and there'll be a giant monster in there or something.
Drops you into a room filled with creepers, and it's like, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. You've got all this super awesome armor and shit that you've researched. Now fight something big.
Yeah,
but then it didn't.
do like an arena fight against millions of enemies.
Yeah. Also, because it was kind of interesting that in this mod in particular, it edits the world, because the monolith things. The hidden rooms that you unlock don't exist until you unlock them. Oh, right. It actually changes the world when you trigger the event.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool for an actual thing for a mod to do. Which is kind of neat. But yeah, it didn't really go far enough, I don't think. If it just had a boss battle, it would have been fine. I mean, I guess even regular Minecraft has the end dragon and whatever.
Maybe that's something that's hard to mod.
Well, and I guess maybe it's still in development. Because this is actually an old version of this mod. There's a newer version that is supposedly quite a lot different now.
Cool.
Because, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this whole mod pack is based on an old version of Minecraft.
Oh, yeah, you said, yeah.
And I didn't even realise that until the point where because fairly recently, they put in a thing where if you put sets of stairs in a corner, it links them correctly. So it's like, oh, corner stairs. Yeah. And I was trying to do that on a roof. I was like, I want to make my roof look pretty by having a corner stairs. So it's like, why is this not working? And then I looked at the version number. It's like, oh, wait, this is an old version where that doesn't actually exist yet. Oh, that explains so much about why this game feels really weird at the moment. So yeah, I did that. And then I'm thinking about doing a pure industry run to see about that. But I was thinking really is like, the way that these mods overlap and like equivalent exchange overwrites everything, it's just like, I wish all these mods were one big mod. Because the magical thing has the idea of the good and evil magic, where it's like, you're absorbing the good magic to make these awesome magical items creates bad evil magic, and it pollutes the atmosphere and it can corrupt the landscape or whatever. It's like, that should just be in the industrial mod, only as just pollution.
Yeah.
It's like if there was an actual... You just need to combine all these systems into one, and then it would be awesome.
Well, maybe they'll be inspired just by the fact that this pack exists to like start combining them.
Maybe. And I was looking at the industrial one, because I guess there is sort of that, because you can make a nuclear reactor, and then that can melt down and explode. I guess.
Do you have to build containment and shit?
Yeah.
And then it can melt down?
Well, sort of. It's basically there's special blast-resistant walls, and then if you build enough of them, it actually just stops the explosion.
Yeah.
But then you have to design your reactors in weird ways. It's actually a really weird system as far as I can tell. Where it's like it opens a like inventory grid like you'd get in a chest. Only the position of the things you put in there actually influences. It's like a mathematical thing where things next to each other influence, and you have to dissipate the heat.
Right.
And then if you reflect the neutrons, you get extra bonus energy or whatever, or it lasts longer. So it's like nuclear reactor. But that's the same problem again, where it's like you've reached the pinnacle of nuclear reactor, and then all that's doing is producing a shit ton of energy for you to power your special end-game armor that requires a shit ton of energy to make you invincible. And it's like, well, I'm invincible.
Oh, great.
Woo.
All that nuclear powered.
Like, I'm sure it's like the going through the process of getting there is cool, but once you get there, you're just invincible in the Minecraft world, and then what do you do? It's not like anything is that much of a threat, really.
No.
You can fight the end dragon really easy, I suppose.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Using my nuclear powers on you. You just nuke the end dragon.
Well, you can make nukes, supposedly. But then that's just like... It's basically just a big explosion.
Right. You just described the plot of the next Fallout game.
Probably. So yeah, I might... But my other main problem was, after I was done with the magic mod... Actually, it happened at the start of the magic mod, is that
Magic mod.
I wanted a nice map, and it's really hard to get a nice map in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Because random generation is goddamn shit. I wish these games would have better procedural generation.
Or perhaps if they had some sliders.
Or sliders or something. I mean, in the post this mod pack releases of Minecraft, they added like large biomes where it just doubles the size of the biomes, which is actually quite nice because it makes them look a bit less retarded where there's like deserts butting up against snow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want options.
Is this your? We're running out of time. Well, sort of. We've got 3 minutes, but was this your gameplay end?
Yeah, it was pretty much everything.
Minecraft week.
Yeah.
Another Minecraft week.
Well, last week. This week, as I said, I didn't really do anything. Can't have it.
Didn't even play Minecraft.
No. Well, I finished it earlier this week, I suppose.
Hey Dan, you're my Star Wars guy.
Am I? I'm your Star Wars guy.
Now what are we talking about?
What do I think of J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, you knew where I was going with this.
Suddenly we're back to film.
I haven't really thought about it. It seems reasonable. It seems like he's doing the first one, is he? Of the new ones?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Okay. Or he might do... Yeah, I mean, he's good. I mean...
It's not like it's going to be a reboot.
I think it's okay, but there's been, like...
Well, the main thing is, like, because he does Star Trek as well, is that dodgy. But his style actually suits Star Wars better in a way.
I think it does.
Because it's more kind of action-y and...
I was having a conversation last night where it just basically went J.J. Abrams, and it's like, how shit is that? And it's like, he's the guy that made Star Trek, and I'm like, which was great.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it was awful. What, are you kidding me?
What are you talking about? That was good.
Star Trek was an excellent film.
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
and the new one looks amazing.
I would say that Star Trek, the film, it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot, but it wasn't super true to the spirit of Star Trek necessarily. Whereas I think J.J. Abrams doing Star Wars would probably be awesome and more true because it's kind of more his style.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Star Trek. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it always was a kind of
crazy
spangly space opera rather than because Star Trek was more. I know it was in the 60s, but whatever. If you look at TNG or something, it's like it's got some sort of serious.
It's still about exploration and finding weird stuff and.
Like, because he could do those.
They made it too close to home, didn't they? I guess in the film,
They made it too fighting.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with that. You can still do a story like that, but I think the whole point, some of with the possible exception of Deep Space Nine, was like we found some crazy shit. Shit's going down.
But just look at his cinematography and lighting and everything in Star Trek, and just think of the
trendy wine bar.
Just think of a lightsaber battle.
Oh, so much lens flare.
It'd be so cool. So yeah, as long as he understands that lightsaber battles are an opportunity to tell a story rather than flash around a bunch of pointless martial arts for no reason, then
cut people in half.
Yeah. Then I'm all for it. I think it could be cool.
I'm behind it. I think it could work.
Right, well, that's our opinion on Star Wars. Thanks for joining us on the Saladcast.
It's pizza time again.
Apparently so.
Yeah!
Check out the site for Final Fantasy VII gameplay, among other things. And we'll be back next 2 weeks' time, as per usual.
2 more videos to be edited and go up, and like more Final Fantasy gameplay, and a retread through Atari ST classics.
Some of them, yeah.
Awesome. Bit of
more of that, potentially.
Awesome shit. Yes, so check that out. The site is marginally changing, so check it out. For all
some stuff be happening, yo.
Indeed. Catch you next time.
Extended 8-second goodbye.
Goodbye. It's a barbecue. Goodbye.